field car. Bobby Labonte leads lap 1.
Guys got down to the bottom pretty quick, BP. You can see a lot of cars trying to get on that bottom lane.
And Labonte moves up off the bottom just a little bit. Jarrett trying to get on the inside. And the car that everyone was talking about being so fast, the 8 car, back in 3rd spot. Here comes TJ on the bottom.
While we've been honoring the memory of Dale Earnhardt with a silent lap 3 through the season, we thought today we should take that time and remember all of America's lost heroes. Jr., new leader.
And that's the one they all talked about in the garage here this morning as being really, really fast. Oh, some contact between the 12 of Jeremy Mayfield, the 66 of Todd Bodine.
That's back for 6th place. You see Bobby Labonte has slipped back to 5th, just in front of them. It's Earnhardt Jr., Jarrett, Rudd, Craven, then Labonte, Mayfield, and Bodine. On board, Kenny Wallace.
Kenny's currently in the 8th position. Started 6th. He's backed up a couple of spots. Been on the outside, not an advantage on the very start of a race.
Let's check in on Jeff Gordon. Started in 23rd position. He's picked up 3 spots. He's in 20th. Making 19th as he goes around Kyle Petty.
There's Joe Nemechek, the 33 car, trying to get by on the outside.
I think the thing Jeff wanted to see the most has happened, that the field got single file quickly.
He certainly did not want a repeat of what happened here in June, a crash. And we see Hornaday on the inside of Kenny Wallace taking a spot away. In this 14 car, the last few races, I asked those guys this morning, what's going on here? He said, we're finally getting it together.
That's 8th place now that Hornaday's in. And he needs a good run. They have finished 30th or worse in 13 of the last 16 races.
And the same thing, BP, talking to those guys, they know they've got a good car, they've had good runs, but they haven't been able to capitalize it. They want to finish today. They figure if they finish, they'll have a top 10 car.
And look, he's just driven away from Kenny Wallace and closing in on the back of Todd Bodine.
Bodine sees him coming. Go on.
And what Todd did there, you can afford to do when you have some space behind you. If those cars were nose to tail, he could have lost 7 or 8 spots right there. But he had some room, so he said, take it.
So Hornaday to 7th, Todd Bodine back to 8th. And we check on the interval from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Looking back to the 2nd place scrap. Here's the teammates going at it.
And Ricky Rudd goes on the inside of Dale Jarrett, takes that 2nd spot away. And this morning on the 88 car, they worked on that car all morning. The cars were supposed to be on the line at 11 o'clock. At 10:45, when I walked by there, they still had the car on plates making adjustments.
Just underway in the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400 at Dover. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Here at Dover Downs International Speedway, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the leader. Bobby Labonte has fallen back.
His teammate Tony Stewart goes on the inside and takes the 7th spot away. He's losing another spot to the 66 of Todd Bodine. Dave Burns, what's going on down there?
Well, according to Bobby Labonte's crew, he just got loose coming off of 2. In fact, he radioed into his crew that everything is fine.
Oh, now he's in trouble, Dave. Bill Elliott got loose under him, hit Bobby, and Bobby's in the wall. Caution's out. Where's Gordon? He got through it.
Clean as a whistle. Looked like Bill just lost a little bit there. BP got a little bit sideways in 1 and 2. Bobby was in the wrong place. the wrong time.
Oh, boy. 20 laps in. Labonte's got a very messed up race car.
It will take a lot of work just to get this car back on the racetrack to make laps.
Bobby had picked his way back up to 6th in the championship standings. He was just 35 points from Sterling Marlin and 23 ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr. So that's going to cost him. Let's mention that Kyle Petty has gone to the garage earlier, and let's check out what happened to Bobby.
There we see the 9 car of Elliott. We see that big wiggle. He has to go up the hill to make contact. The body slam against the 18, and both cars almost like synchronized swimming. Although this is not an Olympic event here, folks. And there we see Jeff Gordon going right between the 2 cars.
Oh, look at the page. Gold car.
Almost looked like Bill could have saved that, but when he got into the 18, he would okay, and then contact there really broke him loose because they got up together up in the marbles there. Boy, Bobby was in the wrong spot just at that, and he took the worst of it, I believe. Although Bill's got some damage on the right rear and the right front.
Boy, Bobby caught back, and then just the car whipped around and caught the right front.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny Wallace in the Pennzoil Chevrolet sees all that, and he says, thank goodness it happened right in front of me. Listen to this, folks. Just listen. Doesn't that hurt just hearing it?
Ouch.
Just hearing it hurts, folks.
Let's go to Marty Snyder.
Well, Alan, there were a few pit stops, among them Johnny Benson, who had already picked up 10 spots in that short amount of time. He started 37th, was running 27th when he came down pit road, a little tight off. They took 1 pound out of both left side tires, which should loosen them up just a little bit, but they made tremendous progress in that first run for Johnny Benson. Today, Burns.
And Marty, this is the biggest piece of body work that came off of Bill Elliott's car. It's the rear bumper cover. They got to the good stuff, too, that needed to come away, the fenders and everything, to try to repair it for Bill. They think that the radiator's okay, which is good news, but that car is really banged up.
And Dave, Kyle Petty has brought his Sprint Dodge back to the garage. Kyle, report your car leaking fluid. Is it terminal?
Yeah. I hope it's terminal. If it wouldn't run any better than that, it should be terminal anyhow. But it broke. I don't know. What we run? 10 laps? So that's good. We got 10 laps in today. But, you know, it's pretty frustrating because you had a pretty good car that would drive good and run good. And, you know, it seems like we've been hit and miss this year. We've been pretty good with the car. We've missed it with the motor. And now we were pretty good. And when we've been pretty good with the engine, we've missed it with the cars. So we'll get on it eventually.
The last time a Dodge won here at Dover, his father, the King Richard Petty, took it to victory lane, Bill, back in 1975.
Well, Matt, Ward Burton was on pit road, an early stop for the Caterpillar car. His car just way too loose all over the racetrack. Crew Chief Tommy Baldwin indicated to us. So Ward came in, 4 tires, fuel, made the chassis adjustment, sent him back out. Just missed a loose tire on pit road, and we know how narrow this pit road is. And we know what damage tires can do to the front of the cars. Just ask Johnny Benson, right, Alan?
Yeah, that was from the race back in June when Benson ran into a tire from another car and wound up damaging the nose of his car to the point the engine overheated and he was done for the day. On to the first caution here at Dover. Bringing you the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. And we're under the first caution of the race. Came out at lap 21 when Bill Elliott and Bobby Labonte crashed in turn number 2.
That's our leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. as he weaves his car back and forth, trying to keep those tires clean. Here's Jeff Gordon, our points leader, as he drives through the 2 spinning cars. Cars on the inside, cars on the outside, and the seas parted for him.
Here we go. This is what it looks like from Jeff's car. Just backs off the throttle, looks for a hole. Actually, he was lucky at a big hole there.
Keep going, go, go, go. You're good, you're clear.
Not too much smoke either. Sometimes get a lot of smoke back there.
But we talked about for Gordon starting back in 23rd that it was going to be anxious while he worked his way to the front. There's one incident that he was able to dodge. Bobby Labonte in the garage area. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
And Alan Shades of 1997, Bobby, you weren't in the lead, but nonetheless, you're back here in the garage early.
Yeah, it's a shame. Car was a little loose at the beginning, but you know, we had plenty of adjustments to make it better, and you know, just wasn't meant to be today.
How bad's the car hurt?
Pretty bad. You know, just it's a bad place to be over there, at the wrong place, at the wrong time. Just it's hurt pretty bad. We'll probably get it fixed, but it's going to take a while.
And he certainly is going to take a hit in the points. He entered 6th in Dover with only a 23-point lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dave.
And Matt, Bill Elliott reported to his crew that the steering was okay on the 9. They haven't lost any fluid from the radiator. And so basically they were going to bang out the fenders and cut some up and send it back out. But the problem was they lost laps because they couldn't get the hood pinned down. The hood pins have to be in before they head back onto the track. And the hood was misaligned with the pins that come out of the frame, and so they lost at least 2 laps because they couldn't get the hood back down, and the NASCAR officials wouldn't let them go.
Green flag.
Ricky Craven on the outside of Earnhardt Jr. trying to take the lead away, and Hornaday on the outside of Rudd. Ricky Craven to the front.
Started 30th, finished 4th here at Dover in June. You heard Marty Snyder talk about he won a golf tournament on Thursday, and he's not a very big golfer. Maybe this is the day for Winston Cup win number 1.
His team won a golf tournament, of which he was a member.
You don't want to give him that much credit?
No. Jeremy Mayfield, the 12 car, has moved into the 3rd position. This is on the front bumper of the Conseco Pontiac of Ron Hornaday.
Farther back, Ken Schrader, Kenny Wallace, 9th spot.
And look here, Jeff Gordon is back in the 14th position, but running with 5 cars. Get by those 5, he goes up to the top 10.
Kevin Harvick up to banking. Gordon trying to get 12th.
There we see that Jeff Gordon right now is almost 5 seconds behind the leader, Ricky Craven. And as he runs side by side, you can see that number getting bigger and bigger.
While we're watching Gordon and thinking back to Bobby Labonte's accident, this weekend NASCAR has mounted black box crash recorders. They did it yesterday in 2 NASCAR Busch Series cars, today in 2 Winston Cup cars. Gordon's car is carrying 1, Bobby Labonte's car is carrying 1. It's an experiment to see how they'll fare throughout the 400-mile distance today. Well, they got a test under adverse conditions on Labonte's car.
Ricky Craven, the 32 car, the Tide Ride, the leader of the race. He ran so well here in June, almost won. At one point in time, looked like he was going to win his first Winston Cup race. You would have thought they brought exactly the same car back. No, a different car.
Brand new car.
Brand new car, because they felt like that in June, the car was really good on long runs, but they wanted to make something that was a little bit better in the short runs and would keep it there for a longer time. And so far in the short runs, he is very, very good.
Left that low lane open. Junior couldn't take advantage. Craven's team's really been coming around lately. He's led laps in 3 out of the last 5 races.
And in June, that's the line that Ricky Craven, oh, was there contact there? If there wasn't, it was close. If there was contact, Craven's going to say, okay, Junior, I get your message, go ahead.
Craven using that high lane is like waving the red flag in front of the bull at Dale Jr.
And that's the line, that's where Ricky Craven made so much of his time here in June, in that high line. Now he's going to try it on the bottom. And someone now is telling Ricky Craven that he's reading off to him his lap times. and he will be moving back around the racetrack trying to find the fastest line around the speedway.
Yeah, right now the spotter's probably clicking off some lap times to him, which is actually Fat Boy. Fat Boy used to be my spotter, and he's saying you're the fastest car, or right there where you're running, it's 1/10 of a second faster than if you're running down low.
Aerial views at Dover, courtesy of the United States Army, an Army of one. Craven and Earnhardt Jr. have opened up a 2-second advantage on third place Jeremy Mayfield. Then you've got Ron Hornaday in fourth and Ricky Rudd in fifth. We've now completed 37 of 400 laps. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back out in front of the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. Ricky Craven now second. Ron Hornaday is taken third away from Jeremy Mayfield. Let's look at the lead change.
Junior got that lead the old-fashioned way. He just knocked him out of the way to take it. Watch the left rear of the bumper cover. Let the thing push in. There's no doubt contact between the two. Ricky Craven saves the car but loses the position. You see, you can't really tell how much. And we can see the bumper cover bend in even from that angle.
Clear low, clear low. All clear, all clear.
So Dale Jr. now out in front. Craven now fighting with Hornaday for second. Rudd is taken fourth away from Mayfield, who's fallen back to fifth. It's been a great racetrack for Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2 wins in 4 NASCAR Busch Series events. And his worst Winston Cup finish is 16th in 3 tries. And we talked with Dale earlier in the weekend about why this racetrack has been so good for him.
The reason why I run so well here is that the track's really forgiving for a driver who may overdrive the car a little bit or make a lot of mental errors and stuff like that. So it's got a lot of banking to save the car when you get out of control. You got a lot of banking to save the car from overdriving the corner, to slow it down getting in the corner.
That's pretty candid, isn't it? He said, I have a tendency to overdrive the car, and this racetrack won't let me do it.
Did you ever overdrive here?
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
You won here a couple times.
Yeah, I've won here a couple times, but going down in these corners, you really do have a tendency to overdrive, because this is a racetrack. You need to be aggressive, but if you go over that line, then you've ruined your chances.
Dale Jr. has opened up a 1.6 second lead on Ricky Craven. Check the interval. There it is. And now Craven fights with Hornaday for the runner-up spot. Let's check in on pit road with Dave Burns.
And this weekend, Mike Beam makes his 500th career start as a crew chief. And a few of those now have been with Ricky Craven, but his first win was right here with another guy, Bill Elliott, back in 1990. It's always good to come to a place that you know well and a place where you've won before, but Mike tells me he doesn't feel old enough to have started 500 races. Also tells me right now their car is neutral. It's just not quite as quick as Junior's.
Last lap by is about a ½ mile an hour slower than Dale Jr.'s.
And this racetrack has always been tough on going down the corner and the car sliding across the racetrack. Those front tires sliding across the racetrack, as we see Ricky Rudd trying to take that spot away from Hornaday. And one of the things that the teams do to try to help that car turn is increase the camber in the right front. We'll go inside our virtual garage and show you exactly what we're talking about. There we see the car. That's zero camber. They lean the car, and that's negative camber. And believe it or not, that's what makes the tire turn better. But you see, the contact patch is so very, very narrow. When you go in the corner, it's supposed to. The tire's supposed to come out so that the contact patch comes all the way across the tire. Unfortunately, the more you lean that tire in, the less it makes contact all the way across the tire, and you wear the inside of the tire. And sometimes these guys will really lay that tire in. What happens after 70, 80 laps, you wear that right front tire out, you blow it, and in the wall you go.
Let's check in on our championship leader. He has moved into the top 10. As we watch Rudd go after Craven for second.
And takes that spot away with ease.
Thank you very much.
And you see
wave
that
out the window.
You see that big star on the hood of the 28 car has been replaced this week with an American flag.
All right, I mentioned the championship leaders moved into the top 10. There's Jeff Gordon up to 7th.
Isn't that amazing?
He's not worried now.
Started back in 23rd. He's going to work on Dale Jarrett. See if, caution. Trouble in turn 1. Jeremy Mayfield into the wall. What was that you were talking about a minute ago?
Well, he's got a
right front tire. Looks to me like he has lost the right front tire.
Right.
Second caution, 55 laps in.
You see a little fire under the car. It's knocked the exhaust system off the car. Those are the tailpipes. Folks, no one runs across those. And I hope Jeremy is okay. Hard lick.
Mayfield running 9th at the time of the crash.
You see the fluid running across the racetrack. Water, oil. And finally, we see Jeremy starting to move inside the car. The window net has been taken down.
Yeah, that's a good sign there. There aren't many easy hits here at Dover.
no.
And I'm sure all the cars, here they come. Every one will be down pit road this time.
Leaders did not stop on the first caution. Most of the guys in the back half of the field did. Now they'll all come in. Stops at lap 55, Bill.
And Ron Hornaday will be one of the first to hit his stall just at the start-finish line. Outstanding start for Hornaday. Car just a little bit tight, gonna loosen it up with a chassis adjustment in the left rear. Other than that, it's 4 tires and fuel. The wedge wrench is in. They make the chassis adjustment. Hornaday getting tires and fuel. He'll head back out. Dave Burns.
Bill, the leader is in, Dale Earnhardt Jr. He asked for just a slight air pressure adjustment. The car was just a little bit tight in the middle of the corner. He's very good at turns 3 and 4, and he said, just make it a half-pound adjustment. I don't want much. He's going to get beat out of the pits by Ricky Rudd.
Matt and Tony Stewart entered pit road fifth. He was bad loose. They made 1.5 rounds in on the right rear wedge, and they also went up 1 pound of air pressure in the right front. He said he wasn't concerned about the leader, who he's only 1/10 off of on the stopwatch. His biggest concern, the 24 of Jeff Gordon. He was coming fast.
Let's check the race off pit road. How they got to that all-important scoring stripe. Ricky Rudd is going to get out first.
Ever see Rudd go by? Earnhardt Jr. Boy, big gap back to Dale Jarrett. Then Tony Stewart. Ricky Craven barely beats. Who was that?
Jeff Gordon. Yep.
And Rusty Wallace. So Gordon has moved up to the, what, 6th position?
Under caution, Jeremy Mayfield has climbed from his car and walked to the ambulance for the ride to the infield care center.
Rudd and the rest of the field still under caution here at the Monster Mile as we continue the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. For Ricky Rudd, it is certainly a challenging day, as it is for the other drivers in this sport. It has been 12 difficult days for every American and every friend of this nation. Today, these drivers went back to work in the toy department. And while it's their job, Rudd knows to them, it's something a little different to provide to the fans.
Racing is entertainment for a lot of people, and it's going to definitely be excitement when you put 43 guys together on a racetrack and only one winner is going to be declared. So they're going to see the excitement. Hopefully it would just ease their minds just a little bit, get their minds off of what's been going on for the last week or so.
Ricky Rudd out front, and of course on the front of his car, the American flag. Rudd saluting NASCAR fans, but also very careful this weekend to mention family in his thoughts when you talk about his job, his work, and his country. Now, let's move further down pit road to Marty Snyder.
And Bill, this is one of the men who may be serving our country. This is Chris Passantino. He works on Michael Waltrip's crew. He is an inactive Navy SEAL. He has been given notification that he needs to go get his physical. He may be called up. He is wearing his dog tags. He said if he does need to go, he is ready to go serve our country. Alan?
Marty, thanks. We've heard several stories similar to that throughout the NASCAR community that we'll hear throughout the course of today. And we were talking yesterday with one of the members of a race team whose brother is a missing New York firefighter, one of the NASCAR Busch Series teams. He'd been up in New York all week and came down here just for a day, a getaway, to go back to his normal life if he could and work on a race car for a day. Then today it was back to New York to continue the search for his brother. And that was the Armando Fitz-owned team that Ron Hornaday drives for. Still cleaning up from Jeremy Mayfield's crash, so let's take a break. It is Ricky Rudd leading at Dover. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. All the way down to the season's conclusion, Kansas City, brand new racetrack next Sunday here on NBC, and the atmosphere around that one is going to be something. Fans have been ready for that race. Then it's on to Charlotte, the short track in Martinsville, and the giant Talladega Superspeedway. You'll see them all with NASCAR on NBC over the next 4 weeks.
As a matter of fact, I think Mike Helton this morning in the driver's meeting, he announced that the Talladega rules would be the same for the race coming up in Talladega as we raced in Daytona.
Said there'd be a slight modification for the Fords, but other than that, it'd be the same package. Everybody's remembering the heroes. Let's check our NASCAR lap after the restart. Dale Earnhardt Jr. got after Ricky Rudd.
Passed him on the backstretch. Rudd moves in to that second spot. His teammate Dale Jarrett in third. Tony Stewart in fourth.
Dale Jarrett moving up from sixth to third on the pit stops. Let's take a look at the lead change just a minute ago on the restart.
Go ahead, BP. I'm trying to figure out what happened. It looks like he got maybe a little bit loose or something, because that 8 really just shot off of turn 2.
And either that 8 car got a terrific run off 2, or the 28 car had the squeeze out of the throttle.
So Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading this race for the third different time. Of the 66 laps that we've run, he's been out front for 41 of them. Ron Hornaday under Rusty Wallace. 7th place.
And I saw the left side of Rusty Wallace's car bottom out going in turn 3. Tells me that Rusty has a very, very soft left rear spring in that 2 car.
And probably a little bit down on the air pressures right after the pit stops. Maybe they're not built up enough. Hitting the track a little bit, which when you hit the track here, it definitely moves the car. It'll slide the car up the racetrack if you bottom out.
Kevin Harvick in the 29 running in 9th spot. That's Todd Bodine just behind him. The old blue light special, and then Ken Schrader. Championship leader Jeff Gordon. Oh, trouble. Brett Bodine.
Folks, you saw a miracle. You absolutely saw a miracle. You saw a car spin at Dover and not hit the wall.
How can you do that? We saw that yesterday at the Busch race. I don't know how they can do that.
I'm telling you, it's a miracle.
Third caution of the race. And it's up at lap 70. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ricky Rudd, Dale Jarrett, Tony Stewart, and Ricky Craven are your leaders at Dover. Speedway under caution for the 3rd time in the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. Brett Bodine with a little spin in turn 4. How did it start?
Well, he may have got a little bit of help on that spin, but we'll take a look at it and see. Here we got Buckshot underneath. It looks like Buckshot gets into the left rear of Brett Bodine. Brett does everything he can to save it, and he does everything he can to keep it off the wall and does a good job doing that.
I still don't understand how in the world he managed to spin, not hit the wall or get hit by another car. But he did it. He managed it.
Another look at it.
One more look. And there we see, I don't know, we first thought that maybe Buckshot Jones in the 44 got a little bit loose, and as they chased the car up the hill, kind of like Bill Elliott did, he caught the left rear of Brett Bodine's car. From that angle, inconclusive.
Matt Yoakum has an update on Jeremy Mayfield for us. Matt.
Alan, Jeremy Mayfield can attest that any hit at Dover is a hard one. After he walked into the infield media care center and he was talking with doctors, they found out that he had a slight loss of consciousness while sitting in the race car after the crash. They feel like he has a mild concussion. They are going to transport him to Kent General, which is now called Bay Health Medical Center, for observation and a CAT scan test. But the good news, he was alert and he was talking to his crew chief, Peter Suspenzo, and the doctors.
So while they prepare to transport Jeremy, we're going to be under caution for a few more laps. Dover is one of the tracks on the NASCAR Winston Cup circuit that has no tunnel. And the only way in and out of the infield is through a crossover gate at the start-finish line. There you see the workers. They've removed the stanchions and the turnbuckles, if you will, that hold that gate in place during racing. And in a moment when they get set to transport Jeremy, they'll swing that gate open to allow the ambulance out of the infield. So we're going to be there they go now. So we're going to be under caution here for a few more laps while we wait for that to happen. And of course, we'll stay on top of Jeremy's condition and bring you updates as we get them throughout the afternoon here in Dover. To the local hospital. You heard the report from Matt Yoakum a minute ago. Jeremy was briefly unconscious inside the race car, and so they're taking him to the local hospital for precautionary CAT scans and x-rays. Let's go to Marty Snyder.
Alan, Mike Skinner sits back in 32nd position, and there's been a lot of speculation about how much longer he will be in the car for Richard Childress Racing. I talked to Richard Childress this morning, and Richard told me, I just got water poured on me. That was pretty cool. Anyway, that was Mike's wife. So anyway, while I let you tell stories about her. But anyway, Richard told me that Mike will be out of the car probably before the end of the year. He will have knee surgery, and it looks like he could be out early as Talladega, maybe even as early as Charlotte. Now, popular belief in the garage area is that Robbie Gordon will replace Mike Skinner in this car. The belief of many people is also that if Mike Skinner goes out early this year, that Robbie Gordon will also replace him in the car early this year as well, Alan. I'm going to go dry off now. Thank you.
My wife and Angela have spent too much time together. But no, you're right. Mike's not going to get that done, so he can be completely healed for when the season starts next year. So the only thing about that is he was supposed to be my teammate in the 24-hour. Now he's leaving me hanging on that one. But that's a good way to do it. And I think he's looking at Talladega, after Talladega.
Here's our UPS track fact. 22,1986 seats here. Look at this place today. 140,000, and they're all full. Amazing. Dave Burns.
Alan Dale Earnhardt Jr. says that the goggles that he has on are not sealing well to his face. He has sweat running down his eyes. He's asked the guys for a plain old rag next time he comes in so he can do this at over 170 miles an hour. Bill?
Well, Jeff Gordon cruising around under caution in the 6th position. On the last set of pit stops, he came in 8th, went out 6th. No changes to his car. They gave him 4 tires and fueled it in 14.30 seconds. That's what helped him pick up those 2 positions on pit road. He runs very well at this track. Green's out.
Hornaday outside of Gordon, trying to pick up 6th.
And he's going by Craven. Ho-ho! Hornaday going somewhere.
He has a reputation as being the best in the business at restarts.
He is the king of restarts. And I know why. Well, I don't think I'll tell you why though.
Why not?
Well,
because he'll get mad at you.
Probably would.
Look at Tony Stewart poking the nose of that orange car under Dale Jarrett.
Contact between the 14 and 32.
More contact.
And more contact, and Jeff Gordon almost gets knocked in the wall.
Damage to the left front fender on Gordon's car.
Like we talked about earlier, these are the bullets that he has to dodge, but we just didn't expect to see that far up front. There's considerable amount of damage on that left front right there. See, right?
Yes, and you know, that 24 car, he was so good at Charlotte in the Coke 600. He had damage to the front fender, and it ruined his day.
see if we can see what happened here exactly.
Coming off the corner, we see Hornaday get loose. He backs off the gas, so Craven gets a run. They go down in the corner, and Hornaday comes down the hill. Here, Craven and Hornaday makes contact. And there we see Jeff Gordon getting in the right rear of Ricky Craven with that left front fender.
Here you go on board. A little bit tough to see if he can see. Jeff did not have a whole lot of room up there. He got really lucky, but still, I think that damage to the left front is going to affect the way that car handles a little bit.
And NASCAR spotters around the racetrack are reporting there is a slight tire rub on that left front for
You
Gordon.
can just see right there, Alan, there was a little bit of smoke right before he got down in the corner there.
Racing Rusty Wallace for 7th place.
Rusty had just taken that spot away from Jeff Gordon. Now Jeff is trying to retake the spot from Rusty Wallace. And
to Matt Yoakum.
Alan, down here in the 2 pit, this is the right front tire that came off Rusty Wallace's car. You can see how it is cut on the inside shoulder right there. This tire actually is out of the same batch number that Jerry Mayfield had on his right front. Apparently, Robin Pepperin has had everyone check up and down pit road. This tire was actually made 15 tires apart from Mayfield's. Nobody else on pit road apparently has this batch number. So the good news is they've lucked out with that caution. Unfortunately, it was due to their teammate, but you can see they also had a cut, so there was a tire problem developing down here. So it looks like good news. Nobody else has this batch number. They might not have the same problem.
And Bobby Hamilton Jr., the 55 car, trying to get by Jeff Gordon. And folks, I don't think Jeff Gordon's car is as fast right now as it was before the contact with Ricky Craven.
That's 8th place that Gordon just lost to Hamilton. He just got to ride it out till he can get onto pit road and get that fender fixed.
And I don't know, they'll make it a little bit better, but they're not going to make it as good as that thing was to begin with. The bodies on these cars are so important. When you do that kind of damage, you can't get it fixed 100%.
So lap number 80 at Dover. Jeff Gordon gets nicked up.
And usually when you do damage like that, it'll usually tighten the car up. When you affect the nose like that, the car will get tighter. It won't want to turn as good as it did before.
It was either 1977, 78 here at Dover. I was about a 5th, 6th place car. Same situation up 3 and 4. I ran in the back with another car with the right front fender, the way Jeff did with the left front, and my car was perfect after.
Really?
Won the race, going away. They took a 5th place
after that?
After the wreck.
And you've been trying to figure out how ever since.
Exactly. I just wish I knew.
Interval from Jeff Gordon up to leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. You see it's growing.
Just every turn of the wheel, it seems like it's growing by 1/100 of a second.
Bill Weber.
Alan, down here in the 24 pit, prefab pieces for the front nose of Jeff Gordon's car. They have several pieces. The one they're looking for now, obviously, for the left front. Gordon and Loomis have talked it over, staying out for now. NASCAR has also advised the 2014 of exactly what we heard about spotters seeing smoke coming from that wheel well. You could also see it going down the front stretch a few laps ago. Total preparation. That's how you make the best of bad days and walk home with a championship at the end of the season.
You see the smoke just barely coming off that left front right there. And hopefully that will not cut the tire as we go along.
Of course, it was just the last race that Jeff Gordon had problems. This was Richmond, Virginia, a couple of weeks ago. He's racing Sterling Marlin for a top 5 spot.
Some contact in the left rear, and Jeff Gordon's night was ruined. He was able to get back on the racetrack.
But he lost 100 points. He finished in 36th position.
Tell you what, well, that car does not look that bad right now, BP. He's hanging right in there, and Harvick hasn't gained anything on him.
The problem that Jeff Gordon has, is he's losing ground to the 8 car. We saw just a moment ago he was 7 seconds back. He's now almost 9 seconds back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. So Rusty Wallace's car is not very good, and Jeff Gordon's is bad enough now he can't get by Rusty.
So Gordon running back in the 9th spot while Ricky Rudd runs in 2nd place. Top 2 in the championship. Of course, Rudd gaining those 100 points on Jeff Gordon at the Richmond race a couple of weeks ago. We heard from Rudd in our pre-race, and also we talked with him at more length earlier in the weekend about his needing to take advantage of Gordon's problems to have a shot at the championship.
Well, we got to take advantage of the situation. We haven't been able to do that over the season. Jeff has had some problems along the way, and we've had some problems. But on the days he's had his problems up until Richmond, we haven't been able to capitalize and take advantage of the big point swing like we did the other week at Richmond.
And Rudd is 222 points behind Jeff Gordon coming into today's race. 10 events to go. You see right now he's gained a little bit of ground.
He's gained 27 points right now on Jeff Gordon. But if this race were to go green flag for a couple of 100 miles, Jeff Gordon would lose, I think, more positions, because I think that fender situation would make his car get slower and slower as the run progresses.
That was 7 seconds just a little bit ago.
And now it's over 9 seconds, the difference between Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Actually, that's to Ricky Rudd. It was 7 seconds to Dale Jr., so Rudd is almost a second behind Earnhardt Jr., so Gordon's 10 off the lead. Coming up on the 1/4 point of the MBNA, Carl Ripkins Jr. 400 over he and his team, one of many, in fact, most all the field, using today's event to raise funds, almost kind of like a race-a-thon. Money per lap completed, money per mile completed. Junior's even got a little carrot out there to his race team as well in their pit stop performance today.
So if they can have a pit stop under 14 seconds, he will donate $10,000 to the fund. And he is starting to lap cars. That's Brett Bodine, the 11th car in 37th spot, right in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Junior's led 79 on the 105 laps so far.
On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. We'll see down the straightaway that Jr. will get up to 160 miles per hour.
Clear.
And the RPMs down the straightaway, these guys usually turn somewhere between 8,500 and 9,000 RPMs. He gets by Bodine safely and right on the bottom of the racetrack. You see the yellow bubble tells you where he is on the speedway. Going in turn 3.
Whoa. He ran up on Mike Wallace a little faster than he was expecting there. '36th place car, 1 lap down. And a lot of traffic ahead. Jeff Gordon, 7th place. He gets it from Craven. Well, it can't be that bad, his car's performance with that wrinkled up left front fender.
Well, maybe Craven is that bad at this point. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, let's find out how Craven's car is. Dave?
Just check with Mike Beam, the crew chief, Alan, and they're a little loose in, which was what they were early. They've gone kind of back and forth, but that right front fender damage from the incident with Jeff Gordon has made him a little bit looser getting into the corner.
So there you go. Craven's damage from the incident is affecting him.
But his damage should have been with the right rear. I don't know. But we see that right rear is bent on the car, and that could be a problem.
Behind these two, 9th place, Kevin Harvick working on Rusty Wallace, and here comes Kenny Wallace in the 1.
Using these terms, folks, pushing, loose, tight. Let's show you what we're talking about. Go inside our virtual garage and show you loose. The car goes down in the corner. preferred line on the bottom of Speedway, kind of like here at Dover, and the car is fine. All of a sudden, the back end starts going out. And when that back end kicks out like that, that's what we refer to as loose. That's kind of exaggerated, but I think you get the picture.
Even a car 5 degrees out of shape, back end to front end in the corner, is going to feel mighty uncomfortable at 140 miles an hour.
Yeah, it feels like how that looks when they're doing it.
Here's Kenny Wallace on Kevin Harvick. This is 10th place.
Rusty Wallace looks out the back bumper of the Miller Lite Ford and sees this battle going on.
Of course, Kenny Wallace continuing to substitute for Steve Park in that machine. Park recovering from his injuries at the Darlington NASCAR Busch Series race on Labor Day weekend. His team giving an update earlier in the weekend here at Dover, saying Steve's recovering just fine. The only lingering effects from his injury are a little bit of double vision, and the doctors say that will heal in time, and he will be back in this race car at some point.
Look how much in the corners here, BP, the groove has moved up so much higher in just 100 laps. I mean, they're almost up to the wall.
And that's usually a sign of some cars that are not handling very well.
The concrete surface here at this racetrack makes that so easy to see. The white concrete and the dark rubber from the tires, you can see where they're running a lot more easily than you can on a paved track.
As a matter of fact, when they first made this surface concrete, they tried to change the name of it, the catchphrase, to White Lightning. Didn't quite stick. I think most everyone still likes the Monster Mile.
It feels like a monster.
It's a great nickname. Like we said, too, at the beginning of the program, it's not just a nickname, it's a reputation. Early pit stop for Joe Nemechek. Matt? Oh, Kurt Busch in trouble.
The engine has expired. We got reports earlier that Kurt Busch was on 7 cylinders, and now he is on 0.
Caution's out. Who's going to get a lap back? Dale Jr. season off, giving a lot of guys a break.
Buckshot's the last car to get a lap down. Terry Labonte, Bill Elliott, and Buckshot Jones.
Fourth caution of the race, lap 117. And Kurt Busch heading toward the garage to join Kyle Petty, Jeremy Mayfield, and Bobby Labonte.
You know, Kurt Busch was sharing a pit with the 93 car of Dave Blaney when this race started. Well, when 18 fell out, they moved all their stuff. I'm sorry, the 12 car moved out. They moved all their stuff up to his pit. Did all that work for nothing? I don't think they did a pit stop in that pit stall that they moved to.
Well, look at it this way. Their original pit stall was all the way down in turn 4. They moved halfway toward the garage, and now they can finish the other half.
And we see Kurt Busch just as he backs off to go in the corner. And it seems like the engines want to blow just when you back off the gas.
Right before you get to the corner.
Leaders were last in at the 56th lap. They'll stop now at lap 117. Big opportunity for Jeff Gordon's team to try and fix that fender, Bill.
And that's one thing they've just finished talking about on the radio. Jeff is loose in, tight off. They want to make a small air pressure adjustment, but he said make sure you fix that left front quarter panel, that left front fender. Make sure you get that fixed. So let's see what they do. He comes to a stop in front of his pit board. They go around to the right side first, then they'll swing around to the left. Right side tires going on. Again, the air pressure adjustment for him. They go to the left side, working on that fender, trying to pull that out, pull it away from the tire. They did say this caution was a huge break for them. This should be a little longer stop than usual for this team. They'll give up a lot of position. But Gordon dives back out in front of Sterling Marlin and heads down pit road. So a good stop for those guys. And they dodge a big bullet, Matt.
A great battle off pit road by Tony Stewart in the 88 and the 8 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Stewart's car bad loose. They went down a half a pound on all 4 tires. A great stop by the Home Depot guys. Dave.
Matt, the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., the crew may not have gotten under 14 seconds for that $10,000, but they did make a slight air pressure adjustment. Jr. said he was a little bit free up against the wall, and then he was a little bit tight from me over driving it into the corner, which of course they could not adjust for him. As for the 28 car of Ricky Rudd, they made a slight air pressure adjustment, but the car is still very, very good.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads off pit road. Tony Stewart is second, Ricky Rudd third. Dale Jarrett comes out fourth, and Kenny Wallace's team gets him up to fifth. Let's check out the race off the pit lane to that all-important scoring stripe.
And we see that Junior goes by first. Great stop by Tony and the team. Wow. Almost gets beaten by Tony Stewart.
So they're cleaning up the liquid from Kurt Busch's engine failure. We'll be back to Dover Downs in a minute on NBC. Whole NASCAR community thinking about others today while we get back to business here at Dover Downs International Speedway. Don't forget, NBC's Premiere Week begins on Monday. You'll get the answers to last season's finales and get in from the beginning on NBC's new hits. Don't miss a minute of NBC's Premiere Week. It all begins Monday night on NBC. This Dover Downs International Speedway's pit lane is one of the tightest on the circuit.
Yeah, watch what happens here. You got Casey Atwell right behind the 25 car, and he just bumps on it as the 25 trying to turn down into his pit. How about it, Marty? What do you got down there?
Well, you made a little contact there on pit road, as you guys just saw, and Jerry Nadeau has got an outstanding car today. He has started 41st. He's all the way up to 17th, despite that contact on pit road. He's a little loose in and tied off on that last run, so they put a half pound in the right front, round a bite out of the left rear, but the damage they're not too worried about right now. They are not going to bring him back down pit road. Let's give a call to Robert Presley. Great run for these guys. Started 28th, running 8th. They are very fast, consistent with the leaders. A little bit tight on that last run. They did make a wedge adjustment, but had just a terrific pit stop. About 15.4 was their timing on the stop.
Good effort there for Presley and his team, and you can see the Jasper Engines folks, one of the people who've removed all of their identification on the car just to salute our country and our lost friends. See Kenny Wallace's yellow car there up in line in 5th position. He came down pit road 11th. Great stop for those guys. They're taking a blower and they're working the apron of the racetrack inside 1 and 2 where all that oil dry was put down from Kurt Busch's engine. That's why we're still under caution.
Sorry, I want to show you guys something. This is inside of Mark Martin's car. You don't see this too often on a Cup car. That's a left side mirror.
And we see Mark Martin adjusting the mirror as you speak, because he does not want to be turned down in the corner and a car be beside of him and then not realize it.
Let's go to Bill Weber.
Alan, down here in the 24 pit, got the left front tire that just took off the DuPont Chevrolet of Jeff Gordon. You can see right here, this is pretty much the groove that was being rubbed in or worked in by the front fender. Also on the sidewall here, if you look, you can see that some of the rubber has been rubbed away here as well. But this tire held up remarkably well. In fact, there was almost some applause here in this pit as to how strong this tire was. So Jeff Gordon currently 14th on the track, dodging a bullet and getting out with a good pit stop. So we're under caution here at Dover in the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. Back in a moment.
I know how you loved trucks when you were growing up, and if you want to race that big brown truck, I want you to know that I'll support you 100%. I mean, it's a nice truck, nice brown, everybody.
Dad, I'm not driving the truck.
How about some pie?
I just called to ask how.
400. Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads. Tony Stewart is second. Ricky Rudd third. Dale Jarrett fourth. Kenny Wallace fifth. Then you've got Bobby Hamilton, Rusty Wallace, Robert Presley, Kevin Harvick, and Ron Hornaday.
All right, as good as Dale Earnhardt Jr. is running today, Tony Stewart, that 20 car, always runs well here at Dover. What can he do with Junior? I think we're going to find out in the next few laps.
Let's mention that Jeff Gordon came off pit road after the extended stop back in 14th place.
You see our Williams race chase on your screens. The distance between Earnhardt Jr. back to the second and third place cars. And right now, Tony Stewart not able to do much with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Let's check up on Jeff Gordon. He's trying to fight his way back through the traffic after that left front fender got repaired. He restarted 14th. He's up to 12th. He's trying to take 11th from Ron Hornaday. Oh!
2 wide outside. 2 wide.
Don't want to be 3 wide at Dover.
No, that wasn't going to work, and Ron backed off on that one very smartly.
It looks like both of them backed off because the 7 car, oh, some contact, and Hornaday goes around.
Mark Martin is crashing. Johnny Benson is crashing in the aftermath. Another couple of cars involved. Ward Burton's in it.
Mark Martin's in it.
Fifth caution.
A lot of damage to Ward Burton's car.
That's what I was talking about earlier. That 14 really needed, they were trying to get a finish. They had good race cars, but this is how it's wound up.
Jeff Gordon racing Ron Hornaday. And it didn't work out.
Now he had damage to the left front fender. I wonder if he has damage to the right front fender, or where he made contact with Hornaday.
I don't see too many marks up there, BP.
Well,
don't know.
He got away fortunate. We'll check out the replays as Ron Hornaday tries to fire his car up when we come back to Dover after this. Up down inside of turn 1. Ward Burton has climbed from that mangled Dodge and walked away. Ron Hornaday has driven his car from the accident scene. Here's what happened.
Well, it looks to me like 24 car got in the left rear quarter of the 14 car and just got a little bit sideways getting off the corner, BP.
Yep. And somehow Jeff Gordon, as we see Ward Burton just run into the 14 car and destroy the front end of the 22 Caterpillar Dodge. All right, here we go. The Army helicopter will take us down into turn 3. We see Hornaday on the outside, Jeff Gordon on the inside, and watch as he come off turn 4. Right, just a touch. That way you really couldn't tell it. And I thought that Todd Bodine from the other angle was closer to Jeff Gordon than he really was.
Take one more look here. That's a tough angle too.
Looked like Gordon's car the nose just kind of slid when he came up off the corner.
Which is what happens here at Dover. I mean, these cars just jump off the bottom of the racetrack, getting up against the wall.
And you know, Ron Hornaday still has not hit anything until the 22 car comes along and runs in the back of him. He had not hit anything.
Yeah. Is that Jeff Burton that just squeaked through down on the apron? Yeah.
Apron in the grass.
Just about.
There's a good shot of the contact there.
And Hornaday spins down, does not hit the outside wall, which I first thought he did.
There's Ward trying to sneak down the bottom and just had nowhere to go. And like you said earlier, it's a problem here at Dover. You can't get away from the race. The crash, I mean.
Go.
On board with Mark Martin. Watch him run the back of the 10 car.
Slow down.
And you could see Johnny Benson was waving. He had his hand up trying to tell Mark to slow down. Just didn't get there quick enough.
From Ron Hornaday's back bumper.
Hornaday didn't know whether to hit the gas or hit the brakes.
Oh. I never Jeff Burton come flashing by. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
A wild mess in the front stretch. Johnny Benson, what took place from your vantage point?
Well, I saw somebody spun the 14 car out. I thought everything was going to be really good. I mean, everybody's waving their hands, getting slowed down, and I got hit from behind, and probably didn't have nowhere to go. You know, I mean, everybody got slowed up and spun. I thought, man, if I keep it off the inside wall, I'm going to be great. But then I got the outside wall, and it just bent the lower A-frame. Just takes forever to change it. So we'll get it done and get the Valvoline Pontiac back out on track.
James Zance and Gary Putnam and the Valvoline guys are busy at work behind us trying to save points because they are 10th in points. Bill?
Matt, Jimmy Fennig, Sean Parker, and the Viagra crew working on Mark Martin's Ford. A new radiator, new oil cooler. There's oil over the inside of the hood. He's got front nose damage to the back end of the car as well. Mark still sits in the car, helmet on and window net up. And one reason for that is this has been an unbelievably frustrating season for these guys. Just cannot seem to get it to go. So another disappointing day in a frustrating year for Mark Martin. A long time here behind pit road, fixing the Viagra Ford.
Benson, Martin, Ward Burton, and Ron Hornaday, the four who have gone to the garage with damage from this accident. And you know, this is the third time today that Jeff Gordon has been involved in an incident or just missed an incident. Back at lap 21 when Bobby Labonte and Bill Elliott crashed off turn 2. He sliced his way through the middle of that one. At lap 79, he made contact with Ricky Craven up in turn 4, was racing for 8th spot, got that damage fixed, and now at lap 129 into Hornaday, bringing out this caution.
Let's watch from Mark's point of view. And this is what you look for the guy in front of you if there's something happening. If you look in the window, see Johnny?
Slow down, slow down, slow down.
Johnny was waving his hand, slow down, slow down, slow down. But Mark just didn't see him fast enough and got in the back of the 10 car.
And there's so little protection for the radiator up in the front of the car. That nose is just actually a piece of plexiglass, plastic, so as you can see, it's caved in back into the radiator.
Set to go racing. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading. Tony Stewart now second. Rudd, Jarrett, Kenny Wallace. On the lead lap at this point. Dale Jarrett getting a little antsy there, trying to find a way around his teammate Ricky Rudd. Taking a peek a couple of times. Just behind them, Kenny Wallace and Bobby Hamilton racing for 5th. Hamilton's team kind of a little renewed vigor this weekend. Signed a new sponsorship deal with Square D and Schneider Electric to carry them through the next 2 seasons. I talked with crew chief Jimmy Elledge this morning, and he said, we were nervous, and this has really given us a big pump up.
It seems like it, because this is the best the 55 the Square D car has run in the past several races, and he is really truly a threat to win here this afternoon.
Of course, Bobby Hamilton in victory lane at Dover at Talladega earlier this season in mid-April, but his best finish since then in 17 races is a 13th place at Richmond a couple of weeks ago.
Bobby Hamilton's teammate Joe Nemechek, the Oakwoods car, is right behind him, and Nemechek had an unscheduled pit stop earlier and lost a lap, and he's now in 30th position, 1 lap down, but seems to be hanging in pretty well in those first 5 cars.
And now that Andy Petrie has sponsorship wrapped up for Bobby Hamilton's car, next task for him is to find backing for Joe Nemechek's for next year. And, you know, as a sidelight to what happened this past week, and all the economic uncertainties that seem to be facing a lot of industries in our country, these Winston Cup team owners now face even more questions in trying to secure those corporate sponsorships for 2002 and down the road. Really has been on a lot of people's minds all across the summer with all of the tragic events and the economic uncertainty that's brought about. That's brought that issue even more to some team owners' minds.
In talking with Andy earlier this weekend, he said they are very close to securing a sponsorship for that Joe Nemechek car, that 33 car right there.
Second place, Ricky Rudd reeling in Tony Stewart. And here he goes.
That looks strong.
That was so strong. And this is only 1 second, a little over a second behind the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's amazing because just a couple laps ago, I thought really, I saw that battle between the 28 and 88, and I thought to myself, the 28's holding Dale Jarrett up, but not the case. After a couple of laps, this 28 car is really fast.
Tony Stewart has been perhaps the most dominant driver here at Dover over the last couple of years. He scored 2 wins in the last 4 races here. He's led 631 of 2,000 possible laps. And his career average finish at Dover is 3rd. 4th, 2nd, 1st, 1st, and 7th are his career finishes here. Check in on our leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. with Dave Burns.
And remember, guys, he has a new friend riding with him this weekend, a volleyball named Wilson, kind of like Tom Hanks from the Castaway movie. The team thought he needed a buddy in there. And so today, he was giving water temperatures to his team, and he said it's about 220, guys. I'm not sure that's so good. I remember when 210 was bad. And then one of the crew radioed back, and they said, well, Wilson says it's okay. And Junior didn't know he had Wilson in the car. He couldn't see him. So they said, feel around behind your right hip. And sure enough, there was a deflated volleyball with a goofy face on it for Dale Jr. to ride with. And I guess now he believes his water temps are okay, too.
And you saw sitting beside of Wilson on the floor fan of the car was his water thermos, his water jug. If he gets thirsty, there's a hose goes up to his helmet, and he can get him a drink of water.
Wilson looks just like Alan Bestwick.
Think so?
I think he does. You look like Castaway movie, Wilson. I thought it was a cool movie with Tom Hanks.
If you're going to say I look like Tom Hanks, I was going to slap you on the back and say thanks.
You know better than that.
I know.
But you're about as old Tom Hanks. I hear you have a birthday coming up, the big 5-0.
5-0? No. That's one too many on that first digit, thank you. Yes,
Jeff Gordon has worked his way back up to the 8th position now, although he's over 6 seconds behind Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I am due for my midlife crisis at any moment now. Jeff Gordon has interesting would be the way to describe his day so far, huh? Dodged the first one, involved in the second one, started the third one, 3 incidents that he's been in.
We'll check and see how far Jeff Gordon is back from Dale Earnhardt Jr. And you see it's hanging at about 6.5 seconds.
Gordon has not yet led today. Both Ricky Rudd and Dale Jarrett have each led at least 1 lap to collect 5 bonus points toward the championship. And we've just crossed the 150-mile mark here in the NASCAR action on NBC as we enter the home stretch in the race for the championship on Saturday. And note, this is a change from our original schedule. We have qualifying on Friday and final practice on CNN Sports Illustrated. Then Saturday, the NASCAR Busch Series race is on NBC at 2 Eastern Time from the new Kansas Speedway. And then next Sunday, Sprint PCS presents NASCAR Winston Cup Racing, 12:30 Eastern Time next Sunday on NBC. Spectacular new track. Can't wait for that one. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr., the leader. Ricky Rudd is closing in. Let's check with Matt Yoakum.
And Alan, one of the pre-race favorites, Ward Burton, is back here in the garage. Ward, what happened?
Not really sure, Matt. Some guys got together in front of us, and everybody checked up, and I just couldn't get slowed down. Bad race for today, but it was really exciting to see the patriotism here by all these race fans. A lot of proud people to be from this country, America.
When you talk about proud people in this country, there are also some proud people on this race team. One crew member, Sam Pardon, took a week's vacation. He's a Vietnam veteran and a welder at Bill Davis Racing. He flew up to New York City and helped the relief effort. The crew is trying to find anyone still stranded inside the buildings at the World Trade Center, helping weld apart the debris, trying to cut apart the debris, hoping to find some survivors. But what an American, a Vietnam vet, to take his vacation to try to go and help someone else.
And I'm told that Sam worked the overnight shift up at the Trade Center. trying his best to do something for someone else. All right, now we have got the leader behind. Oh, and he's going to go 3 wide off 4. Oh, and he's only 2 wide. As how did Rudd squeeze in there between Hermie Sadler and the 96 of Andy Houston?
Houston giving him a little room. Andy going a lap down, 29th place. And Hermie going 2 laps down. He's back in 34th. Rudd's kind of chipped away at this gap. Earnhardt Jr. had been out in front of him by about twice that amount, and he's chipped away and chipped away and chipped away.
So are you saying that he chipped away at it? Chipped away. Okay.
Does that mean he's getting closer and closer, right? That's what you're trying to say?
Lap after lap after lap after lap.
There you go.
I still can't believe you said I was 50.
That's what I was told.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led 138 of the 164 laps that have been run so far. Other lap leaders on the day: Ricky Craven, Ricky Rudd, Bobby Labonte, and Dale Jarrett. And we go to Dave Burns.
And Alan, Dale Jr. does not like this set of tires as well as the last. That is his problem right now. Ricky Rudd, moving up, is doing great on the racetrack, but he had trouble in the pits last time because when he came in, they had already pulled his signboard up out of the way of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was the leader, and Ricky almost missed his pits. So they put some new bright orange tape down on the pit to try to give Ricky Rudd a better opportunity to see his pit box, and they're going to try to make sure they have something else waving there so that Ricky doesn't miss his pit board, if misses pit stall, that is, if Dale Jr. is still the leader on the next round of pit stops.
So there you go. You, like we, were asking, what are we looking at this stripe for? Dave with the explanation.
Put some very brightly colored tape on pit.
Trouble, turn 2. Andy Houston has crashed. Back down into traffic.
Oh, that's not a good
Look out.
Put it in gear. Go.
Caution's out.
Looks like his tires are up on the right side anyway.
6th time the yellow flag waves today. Not only is Rodney Wise, who's from Dover, up on the starter stand for NASCAR, this young man has been here for about as long as I've been coming to Dover. Stands right there below the starter stand for every practice, every car in qualifying, every lap of both races, and does a fine job of flagging the race. And let's take a look at why he's waving his yellow flag now.
Andy Houston goes in the corner. I think he got just a little bit too high. He was trying to ride that cushion, that just trying to get the most grip he possibly could. I think he got just a little bit too high. Got in the sand, and around he went. Jeff Gordon? No, don't tell me you missed another one. Sure did.
Jeff has had a lot of big signs of relief today.
Time to come to pit road for stops. These will be at lap 168. Last time off of pit road, it was Earnhardt Jr. and Stewart with a great race off the pit lane. Let's see how it turns out this time. Bill?
Okay, here's Jeff Gordon, luckiest guy on the racetrack so far today, despite the front end damage. He radioed in about 5-6 laps ago that the handle just went away, really sliding the rear end. 1 pound of air in the right rear. Other than that, it's just 4 tires and fuel for the DuPont Chevrolet. Dave?
No major adjustments on the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. They're going to make a slight air pressure adjustment, and they hope that the tires are going to be better than the last set they had on there. As for Ricky Rudd, no changes on him again, just slight adjustments, and now they're going to try to beat Tony Stewart out. What was it at the line?
Stewart out first.
Ricky Rudd had to jump on the brakes for not to hit Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting out of pit lane there.
Marty?
Well, Sterling Marlin's made some nice progress, guys. He was up to 11th on that last run. First time we have heard that name all day long. A little bit tight on that last run for Sterling. However, half pound out of the right front. Great progress for these guys. To Matt Yoakum.
Ron Hoderday had climbed as high as 3rd. Ron, did the 24 get you?
He must have. The thing got awful light in the back end. The car was a little free for 2 laps, but I mean, we've been fighting a tight condition all day, and there was no reason why that car come around coming off of 4. But I think the 7 car was slowing Jeff and I up, and we were racing pretty hard, and maybe he got frustrated because not used to seeing that Conseco green car run good. The last couple of races, we've been running good. And 7 car got crashed last week, and we checked up and we got taken out by somebody behind us. And then this week, I mean, that was not called for, especially from the points champion, the guy who's leading these points in the Winston Cup. But it's frustrating. But I keep saying we're coming back, but these guys are building a heck of a car in this Conseco Pontiac, and we're running good. Our pit stops are killing us. We running 5th and come out 10th, and that put us back there. Maybe we shouldn't have been running with Jeff at the time. He was getting frustrated because his car wasn't running good.
Certainly had some tough luck, Alan.
Ron Hornaday behind the wall. Let's check the race off of pit road and note that Elliott Sadler has stayed on the track. It is the new leader who's going to be the next man in line.
Watch the 28 right here. There's Tony Stewart, and Earnhardt's coming out at the same time. And Ricky really had to jump on the brakes.
How about the Pennzoil team? Doing a great job getting Kenny Wallace out. Last time they got him up from 11th to 5th.
We need to check to see what Skinner did there. If he only took right sides, because he's sitting at 6th right now. And he was back around 19th or 20th, I believe. So
he was in 19th. Marty?
Well, Wally, if you had to bet, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say the
2 tires. Yeah,
two tires.
Good bet. I was going to save you there, Wally. They have a very good car, actually. They've been pretty good all day long. Royce McGee, the crew chief, just told me we just need some track position. If we get up there, I think we can run with the leaders, but 2 tires at Dover is a risky proposition at best. Today, Burns.
And Marty Jr. radioed to his crew, sorry guys, that was my fault. Y'all had a good stop. I just did not get out of the pit box on time. And then he added, I'm not a machine. Let's go to Bill.
Well, here's something unusual. Jeff Gordon came in 6th or 7th, and right now is 19th on the racetrack. And here's the reason. They did lose a lug nut on the right front, so that slowed their pit stop down. Jeff called in, asked what happened. They told him that they did a little work on the front fender there, so it took a little longer on the pit stall, but they got the lug nuts back on and sent him back out. And after they explained everything to Jeff, he goes, can you imagine how good we'd be doing if I stopped running into things?
And now he set himself back in harm's way again.
Yeah,
for another restart. Now let's mention that Elliott Sadler, who stayed out on the track when the other leaders pitted, has now come down pit road. And so it is Tony Stewart who goes up into the lead. Log on now to NASCAR.com and check out the Conseco NASCAR Fantasy Challenge. Pick your own team of drivers and see how you match up against other fantasy teams. Log on today and you might just win a replica of the number 14 Conseco Winston Cup Pontiac.
Now we'll see how those 2 tires work for Skinner here at BP. Probably okay at the start, but
it's not working too good right now. He's holding up Dale Jarrett big time as they all try to go around the 7 car of Mike Wallace.
Let's remember that Jeff Gordon is back in 18th place on this restart, and here comes Junior.
Wow. You know, those guys in the garage here, they're really a smart bunch. They told me this morning that 8 car is really, really fast. Oh, Tony Stewart looks like he got a little bit loose, getting in 3 when that 28 car pulled up right behind him. That's what we call arrow loose.
that could be. Got the nose right underneath the tail and took a little air off the rear spoiler. Also packed a little air underneath the rear bumper, and it makes the rear of the car loose.
Check that 33 car hanging in there with Tony Stewart. But once again, he is 29th position, 1 lap down.
Bobby Labonte's back on track, 135 laps down after the early accident he was involved in. Mark Martin is out. Andy Houston's in the garage. Johnny Benson, Ron Hornaday, Ward Burton, Kurt Busch, Jeremy Mayfield, Kyle Petty. No further update yet on Mayfield. Just joining us, he was transported to a local hospital after a lap 56 crash in turn 1 for x-rays and CAT scans.
Just at the top of your screen there, you saw the cars coming off turn 4. You saw Dale Jarrett get by Mike Skinner and take over the 5th position.
Let's go back and look at this race for 7th with Rusty Wallace in the deuce and Kevin Harvick in the 29. Let me just mention that Jeremy did walk away from his car, but they suspected he might have suffered a concussion, and that's why they took him to check and do those x-rays. I don't know if I made that clear enough the first time around.
Here goes the 29, Harvick on the inside of Rusty Wallace. Sterling Marlin, a 40 car. And there's Kenny Schrader, the American flag, running in 10th position.
And again, Jeff Gordon behind this, hoping nothing happens to these guys as they run side by side that he might run into.
You see Schrader's car, the 36 car, the American flag, that is all decal. The entire car is a decal. And it took the guy, the body shop guy back in the shop 13 hours all night, Wednesday night, to apply that decal. 13 hours worth.
Harvick threw Rusty Wallace for 7th. Sterling Marlin threw him for 8th. Here comes Ken Schrader to race him for 9th.
Just when Schrader started to drive in there, Rusty brought that 2 car back down.
Since the start of the race, Rusty really hasn't been able to keep that car down on the racetrack. He's been running in the middle of the racetrack even from the start of the race. So he tries to get back down on the bottom, getting off the corner so the car won't push so bad coming off of like turn 4. Actually trying to make a straighter shot.
You see the race for position there. The lap car of Hunt Strickland separating 8th and 9th.
Casey Atwood back there behind Mike Wallace in the 7 car. Has a good run going the 19, number 19 Dodge.
There he is. Casey started in 18th place. Right now he's racing Jeff Gordon for 11th. The 7 car just in front of them, Mike Wallace, is in 30th place. The 2nd car 1 lap down. Slide underneath Atwood there.
Outside, clear, all clear.
That'd put Jeff back into the 11th spot. Remember, he fell on his pit stop due to the lug nut falling off, back to 18th place. Race for position here. Atwood in the Kenny Wallace off the pace from 5th spot.
Pit road, guys.
Ty Norris and Spotter telling he's on pit road. A battle for the lead. Ricky Rudd goes by Jr. Takes it away.
Second time today, Rudd has been out in front. Probably the first time today we've seen somebody pass Dale Jr. for the lead on the track. Matt, what's wrong with Kenny Wallace?
Kenny Wallace subbing for the injured speed car, reporting in he had a vibration. So crew chief Paul Andrews didn't take a chance. He called Wallace to pit road. They are going to change 4 tires and see if maybe they had a tire out of balance or possibly a tire going down. But a tough break for Kenny Wallace.
Or loose lug nuts.
Ricky Rudd is the leader of the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400 at Dover. We're coming up on halfway in the event on NBC. 400 at Dover by 1.09 seconds over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Tony Stewart, Dale Jarrett, and Kevin Harvick, make up the top 5. And here we go for 4th spot.
Kevin Harvick takes the spot away. You see the 1 car, Kenny Wallace, back on the racetrack after that unscheduled stop. Matt, what they found out was going on with the 1 car.
Well, Benny, on the right front wheel, you can look at the holes in the wheel, easily tell they are out of round. I talked to Walt Smith, who is the pit crew coach on the 1 car and for entire Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. He said, loose lugs.
That's tough. 31st spot, 2 laps down from 5th place on the lead lap.
And all of a sudden, the 88 car, Dale Jarrett, seems like he is losing the handle. The car drifting back.
Overtaking Bill Elliott, 9 laps down after an accident way back at lap 20. Looking at the interval from Rudd back to Jarrett.
Inside, Sterling clear, no
A
pressure.
little over 8 seconds. Bob Jeffrey, the new Papa, spotter for Dale Jarrett. And we see that Jarrett losing ground every lap to Rudd.
He's using a lot of racetrack. If you watch him go in the corner, he is sliding all the way up to the top of the racetrack. It's even worse down here in turns 3 and 4 when he gets there. Really goes high.
And checking in on Jeff Gordon, briefly we saw there, he's back in 8th place. Tell you what, Kenny Wallace on those fresh tires is moving.
He lost 2 laps.
Right.
To come down in there, so he's trying to make up as much as he can right now.
What he needs is the race to stay
there. Clear.
Until everybody else has to make a pit stop.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they do that, and he gets back in the lead lap, the caution flag come out.
Leader stopped at 168, approximately 95 to 100 laps between pit stops. So he needs it to stay green for another 70 laps. Good luck. Looking back across to Bobby Hamilton and Jerry Nadeau, who are racing for 14th and 15th. Bill?
Well, Bobby Hamilton's another one of those guys that lost a lot of positions on pit road during the last caution flag stop, Alan. Lost about 10, had a lug nut problem on the left front, but they also had a serious problem with the left front that they took off of that. Off of the car at that point during the pit stop, had a blister problem on it. They were very fortunate, so they had a long stop, but that turned out to be the good news, and Bobby Hamilton has been able to make his way forward in the field. Marty?
Well, Bill, a very nice run for Michael Waltrip thus far. He started 27th. He is running 16th right now. And remember, this is
he spun out, Marty, just as you talked about him. He spun out and crashed in turn 2.
Well, as he was doing that, Slugger Lavia's crew chief was talking to him on the radio. This was just his second race with Slugger as a crew chief, and the crew did not know it. Slugger was talking to him on the radio as he was spinning out, and the crew did not know until just now that Michael Waltrip was into the wall. But they had a great run going, guys.
Can you believe?
I cannot believe it.
Leaders back to the caution. Joe Nemechek will get a lap back.
And he might have been the fastest car on the racetrack that last 25, 30 laps. Talking about Joe Nemechek, the 33 car.
Kenny Wallace did not. Michael spin again down there inside turn 3 into the grass, trying to get it back around to pit road. I can't believe it.
It was similar to Andy Houston.
Yes.
While we were looking at it, see if we can see what happens here. Here you see Michael just gets up high and he just gets that. Looks like he gets that right rear and that slippery stuff up there and gets her sideways.
Evidently, there's grip right next to the loose stuff, and they're all going up there. Dale Jarrett's been running up there so high, trying to find some grip
because his tires are up on the right side. Air pressures are up, so he just got the slippery part.
Oh, and Blaney almost in the back of the 92 car. Listen to this.
Marty?
Sterling Marlin will come down pit road here running 5th. By far one of the fastest cars on the racetrack that last run. Very impressive. They make one change on the chassis, and that is it. 4 tires and that one adjustment to Bill Weber.
Loose in, wedge adjustment on the right-hand side for the DuPont Chevrolet. 4 tires and fuel. Remember, they had the lug nut hang up last time. To Matt.
And Tony Stewart already in. He says his car is still loose, kind of snap loose. So Jeff Gooch Patterson made a wedge adjustment on the left side to Dave.
No complaints from Ricky Rudd, the leader. No adjustments. The crew is already done. He is out of here. Dale Earnhardt Jr. tries to beat him to the line with only a change of tires with a different spring rate in the tires to try to make the 8 car better.
Rudd, Earnhardt Jr., Dale Jarrett, Stewart, and Harvick, the order they come off pit road.
Harvick and Tony Stewart were awfully close getting out of the pits.
Ricky Rudd's team keeping the lead on their pit stop.
John Donaldson jacked down. Rudd goes down the racetrack. They see that he wins. Yes! Yes, John says. Tell me those guys don't get pumped.
Trying to do all he can to close in on Jeff Gordon in the race for the championship. Gordon's had his troubles today. He's hanging in there, though, in 15th place. But Ricky Rudd is the race leader as we just cross halfway. It's been a good track for Rudd over the years. He's been to victory lane at Dover 4 different times. Check our Napa field summary. The way things have gone so far today, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been the dominant driver. He's led 154 of 202 laps so far. A lot of caution flags. Cars officially out of the race: Kyle Petty, Jeremy Mayfield, Kurt Busch, and Andy Houston. Houston from a crash, Mayfield from a crash, Kyle Petty and Kurt Busch with engine failures. There they are. You see, for Kyle, he didn't even have time to break a sweat before his day ended.
Just 13 laps, and as Wally said, Andy Houston, his accident was very, very similar to the one you just saw with Michael Waltrip.
Let's go to Marty Snyder.
And guys, Michael still sitting in the car. Lots of left side damage. They're going to try and pull it back into the garage. There's a lot of left front suspension damage, broken shock mounts, things like that on Michael Waltrip's car. It will be a long time before they can get back out, if they will be able to at all.
Under caution for the 7th time at Dover.
We taped here at Dover Downs on Friday night after the Busch North race. It runs as part of our post-race special tonight, NASCAR 2001, the race to the championship. And you can be part of that by logging on to NBCSports.com and telling us your feelings about NASCAR returning to the track this weekend here in Dover. And we'll review some of your messages in our post-race show after the MBNA 400 in honor of Carl Ripkins Jr. Alan?
Great. Wide build, Dale Jarrett running in 3rd place behind Ricky Rudd and Dale Earnhardt Jr. as we go back racing. Michael Waltrip has taken his car to the garage. Ward Burton and Ron Hornaday have come back from the garage. Ward 75 laps down, Hornaday 77 laps down. And also under the caution, Buckshot Jones's car lost the fire under the hood, had to get pushed back onto pit road, and they have taken it back to the garage as well.
As we watch the top 3 go around the racetrack, remember the last time Dale Jarrett's car, the last run, did not handle well. After a few laps, his car very, very high, would go very, very high on the racetrack. Let's see if Todd Barrett, the crew, have made some changes that will keep him on the bottom of the track and up with the Dale Earnhardt Jr. car.
Kenny Wallace hanging in there, trying to get up and get one of his 2 laps back. The yellow car there, Kenny back in 29th spot. Remember, he had that unscheduled green flag pit stop because of the loose lug nuts at lap 183. And the caution came out and sealed him a couple of laps down.
You see Jeff Gordon back there behind the 29 car. He's currently in 6th position. And he has jumped some tall buildings today to get up to the 6th position.
Yeah. Gordon just missing a wreck on the back stretch at lap 20. Then at lap 79, he and Ricky Craven got together, wrinkled up the left front fender. Lap 129, he ran into Ron Hornaday, racing for 11th spot. And he came down pit road. They lost the lug nut. Lap 168 pit stop dropped him back to 18th. And through it all, he's hanging in there.
Here he is in 6th position.
Looking down on Dover from our U.S. Army Skycam, an army of one. There are 212 ways to be a soldier. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
Looks like Mark Martin's pulling back out.
Yeah, Mark is just rejoining the race, 81 laps down. Mark involved in a big crash on the front straightaway that also involved Ron Hornaday, Johnny Benson, Ward Burton. That was at lap 130. Kevin Harvick in his second NASCAR Winston Cup Series start here at Dover. Back in June, he had an 8th place run. And he comes into this one having finished second in 2 of the last 3 races at Bristol and Richmond. It's a pretty good record for a rookie, huh?
I think I would agree with that. Kevin Harvick has definitely been the real deal this year in NASCAR Winston Cup racing when it comes to being able to keep that Goodrich car up front with very little experience. Which only seems to get better each and every race.
Yep. Rookie of the Year standings, he leads Kurt Busch by 62 points, which is a pretty big margin.
Check out the telemetry on the 29 car. Kevin Harvick can see if he's over the 160 mile per hour down the straightaway. Well, Harvick almost up to 170 miles per hour. And we can see that he's turning well over 8,000 RPMs. But he's running a little bit higher than the other cars, and that will turn you a few more RPMs than the cars running on the very bottom. The bigger you make the racetrack with the same gears as another car, the more RPMs you will turn.
Ricky Rudd, the leader, things kind of settled in among the front runners. Let's take you through the field and some stories on how people's races have progressed so far. Dave Burns.
Alan, on that last pit stop, no changes for Ricky Rudd, according to crew chief Michael McSwain. And might I say something I said earlier, that is the same type of scenario they had at Richmond 2 weeks ago when they won. Minor changes, if any. As for Dale Earnhardt Jr., he said the car is rough. When I asked his car chief, Tony Eury Jr., to tell me what that means, he said basically here at Dover, they've had trouble when rubber builds up late in the race, and there really isn't a great way to fix it. So his car is now bouncing through the turns. Before that last pit stop, they hope maybe a tire spring rate change will help that. As for Dale Jarrett, he was tight in the center of the corners. Benny mentioned that. They took air 1/2 pound out of the right front tire to try to help DJ. Matt?
On his last pit stop, Tony Stewart entered pit road in 3rd and left in 4th, and that's where he currently rides. Stewart has been fighting loose all day. They've adjusted with air pressure, with track bar, with wedge. He says the car is okay for 2 or 3 laps. It's like snapping your fingers, and the car goes extremely to the loose side. And that's how the car is again right now. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick joked around before the races. Usually when he struggles in one car or the other, he's either Busch or Cup car, the other car will run well. He finished 14th in the Busch race. Currently, he's riding in 5th. He, too, has been a little bit on the loose side. They've adjusted with air pressure again. To Bill.
Well, Matt, as lucky as Jeff Gordon has been today, somebody needs to remind him there is a casino here at Dover Downs. He's hit a lot of things, but he's missed the big one and continues. His last stop, 14.61, makes up for the lugged up problem they had on the previous stop. Made that slight wedge adjustment because it was a little loose in. Running strong. The big question is, if he can get out front, how strong will he be? Chasing him on the track, young Casey Atwood, having an outstanding run, maybe his best run since early at Indianapolis. Then they had problems there. On his last pit stop, no changes because he said he didn't want to mess with the car, like the way it was handling. 4 tires, got fuel, and 15.2 seconds, came in 9th, went out 4th. Marty?
Phil Sterling Marlin is running 8th on the racetrack. In that last pit stop, he came down pit road running 5th. They thought they had a good pit stop, 16.4, but they lost some time getting off of pit road. They came out 7th and now have fallen back to 8th. Now, the fact that they have lost a spot is of no concern to them because their car, not very good on the short run, very, very good on the long runs. At Dover tends to get tighter the longer you run. Their car starts loose, gets tight. That is a very good condition for Sterling Marlin. He was very fast at the end of the last run. Behind him on the track in ninth, Jerry Nadeau. They have had an outstanding day. They have had very few changes on that car today. The car very good on that last run, and they made no changes this time either. To Matt Yoakum.
Three-time Dover winner Rusty Wallace, who won 3 straight and then made concrete of the place, still seeks for his first concrete win here. He has made it in the top 10, but Rusty has been fighting tight. I talked to Jeff Dowson, the engineer on this team. He says they pulled a spring rubber out of the left rear and they went back to their original air pressures trying to fix this tight condition. Meanwhile, I spoke with Frankie Stoddard, Jeff Burton's crew chief. He says the car was good before this pit stop, but now the car has gone slightly to the tight side. Bill.
Well, please salute the car of Ken Schrader as we show trouble.
Robert Presley's into the wall, turn 2.
You know, he really didn't have a lot of damage in the rear of the car until he goes down and the bank of the speedway carries him to the inside and he hits the inside wall.
8th caution of the race, and we're just past halfway. Kenny Wallace going to get one of his 2 laps back from Ricky Rudd. Robert Presley started 28th, had been up into the top 10 earlier. Now he's crashed in turn 2.
Wally, if I'm not mistaken, this might be the same situation as the last 2. Very high on the racetrack at the edge of the debris. And it just looks like you cannot run up there.
And it looks like, I'm not sure where this happened. It looks like it happens just past the middle.
Well, this happens going in the corner, so.
Yep, sure does.
Now there were some other cars around.
Yeah, could have been contact with another car as he started down the corner.
File that one under inconclusive.
And the radiator is broken in the car as he was trying to get the car unstuck out of the grass. I saw a lot of water under the car.
Leaders pitted at 2:01. We're at 2:27. Do they come in?
Looks like it.
Looks like yes. It looks like everybody.
Well, at 2:01, they were going to have to stop twice more anyway. So this time, they can stop now and only stop once. Marty?
Sterling is in, running 8th. Benny, as we said, he starts loose. He gets tighter as the run goes along. They will make a chassis adjustment and a 4-tire stop to Bill Weber.
Jeff Gordon's car suddenly got very loose. Track bar adjustment, 4 tires and fuel. We go down pit road to Matt.
Gooch Patterson took a half around the wedge out of the 20 car of Tony Stewart. He says his car really didn't feel much better today.
No adjustments on the 28. Earlier in the race, the 28 crew put his car out front. Did they do it again? They kept him out front. Rudd's crew having a better day on pit road.
And Dale Jarrett might have gotten out second. He might have beaten the 8 car out. It was very close.
I believe he did beat Pete. Looked like the 88 did beat the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt out.
Let's check it out.
All right, there goes Rudd. And here comes Jarrett, and there goes the 8 car. So it's clearly the 88.
Dave?
And they're making up for lost ground. Last time on the last round of pit stops, they lost 3 positions, and they were not happy about it. Dale Jarrett's crew bounces back.
I believe Dave Blaney and Jimmy Spencer only got 2 tires on their pit stop. They're now up into the top 10. We'll follow up on it when we come back.
Benny circles, but above that it says Benny, I drew a circle around myself. That's pretty neat.
There you go. We had some great signs around here today. Race fans with some very emphatic and patriotic messages as well. Welcome back to Dover Downs. Alan Bestwick, Benny Parsons, Wally Dallenbach just past halfway in the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. What a day for Jeff Gordon. He's been playing dodgeball all day.
He has missed so many wrecks already. He's missed 3 or 4 already. We're only just over halfway.
Well, we called it at the start, but we figured once he got to the front, he'd be safe, but it doesn't look like he's safe anywhere.
Let's go back and take a look at some of the things that Gordon has had to dodge so far today. It started very early in the race. crash off of turn 2 involving Bill Elliott and Bobby Labonte. Slips through the middle of that one.
He goes right through the middle on lap 79. He makes some contact with the right rear of Ricky Craven's car and damages the left front fender.
So they go and get that one repaired. Then down the front stretch.
He makes contact with Ron Hornaday. The Hornaday car spins, and once again, Jeff Gordon misses another crash.
And then he had a lug nut fall off on a pit stop, went back to 18th in line, picked his way up through some traffic then. Boy, what a day.
Other than that, it's been a piece of cake today.
Yeah, no problem.
But there's a couple other cars on the racetrack that, you know, what we've seen, the 8 car, the 28, 88, they've been up front all day. But the 1 car, Kenny Wallace, is very, very fast. He's still a lap down. The 33 car, Joe Nemechek, he was a lap down. He got it back. And folks, if he can just somehow get his way up in the first 10, top 10, Nemechek will be heard from before the day's over.
Let's get out of pit road, Marty.
Well, Alan, I want to play this game with Wally again. Dave Blaney's up to 4, so how many tires do you think Dave Blaney took, Wally?
I got to go too, Marty.
How about none?
Okay,
I told Doug Randolph, his crew chief, I said, you're a brave man. He said, I didn't want to mess with it. We just got the car working finally. Jimmy Spencer took 2 tires. He's back in 6th place. Spencer's been very good, and Donnie Wingo, the crew chief, told me they've made it better on every stop, so they decided to take 2 tires. His feet are hot inside the car. That's the biggest problem for Spencer right now. And a lot of people saw Mike Skinner taking 2 tires. They were fairly successful with the 2 tires. And a lot of people also have taken notice of a lot of cautions today. So some guys taking some gambles and gaining a lot of track position.
Blaney was 19th before his stop. He's 4th now. Spencer was 15th, and he is 6th. And we're still under caution here at the Monster Mile.
Tommy.
Here at Dover Downs International Speedway as NBC brings you the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. 8th caution of the race when Robert Presley crashed in turns 1 and 2. Let's check back in the garage with Matt Yoakum.
And Alan, the Daytona 500 winning driver Michael Waltrip is back here in the garage area. Michael, first off, lap 2 crash in June. You had a great car here this time.
Yeah, we did. I'm real thankful for Slugger. He came on board last week at Richmond, and we ran real good there. And today we were going to be right. And I heard something bounce off the bottom of the car going into 1. I didn't, you know, you hear that a lot, like rubber. I didn't think anything about it. Next thing I know, I'm backwards. So I guess I ran over something. The Spirit of America Chevrolet, as you see it over there, is a little wadded up, and that's sad. But Napa Auto Parts and all the folks behind us should be real proud of this team. Slugger's just really working hard with Steve Mill and the whole bunch. And I believe, I mean, you can't run like we did today and not know what you're doing. These guys know what they're doing, and we're putting it back together. And I hate that happen, man, because it can knock the steam out of the wind, or the wind out of the sails. But in this case, I don't think it did. I think they're with me.
And a good update, good news from Jeremy Mayfield's camp. Chip Williams, his PR representative, says that Jeremy has been released from the local hospital. He does have some bruises, but besides that, CAT scans came back negative. All he has is a chipped tooth, so looks like Jeremy will be a little sore and paying a visit to his local dentist. Alan?
All right, Matt, that's good news for Jeremy Mayfield. Very hard crash back at lap 56. And after the trip to the hospital, he is doing okay. Half a lap from the restart. Bill Weber.
Alan just wanted to finish up on Ken Schrader with the American flag car today, courtesy of M&M, is taking all their decals off of it to salute the country. They've had a day where they've been too tight, too loose, too light, too tight and too loose. Then they softened it up too much on the left side, so they're battling back from that. They think one more pit stop and Schrader could have the best car on the track. Down 1 round on the track bar last time at 4 tires. And also keep an eye on the 19 at Casey Atwood. We talked about him. Last stop was 14.8. Had a quick conversation with the car runner Ray Evernham. Thrilled with the way the team's running today. We're under green at Dover.
Remember that Dave Blaney in 4th got no tires on his pit stop. Jimmy Spencer got 2. He's in 6th.
I don't know about that no tire deal, BP, but we'll see.
Well, right now, Blaney's right in front of Tony Stewart, who got 4 on his car.
Remember, Blaney started way back in the 42nd position. There's Stewart. Led 1 time for 3 laps so far.
And there we see Blaney with a couple of car length lead on Tony Stewart. Here comes Jimmy Spencer with that 2-tire stop right in front of Kevin Harvick. And there comes Jeff Gordon back to the 8th position now. go up to Jeff Gordon as he goes down in turn 3. Back on the throttle. It looks like he sounded like he was able to get back in the throttle pretty strong up in that corner.
You know, the thing that's got to make Gordon so wary, he's dodged all of this difficulty so far today, and he knows that this racetrack, it lurks every corner, every lap until the checkered flag. Everything he's dodged so far today, he's got that much still ahead of him.
Jimmy Spencer, those 2 tires. Jeff Gordon came off the corner kind of like when he was behind Ron Orr today.
This is 6th place, and Harvick's going to get it. Spencer to 7th, Gordon in 8th. The 11 of Brett Bodine is 1 lap down in 27th.
Spencer did not have the grip to keep his car on the bottom of the racetrack up in 3 and 4, let the car slip up. When he did that, Jeff Gordon tried to drive on the inside, did, and off turn 2 will take the spot away.
Outside, clear, all clear.
Casey Atwood next in line to challenge Jimmy Spencer for a spot. He's got the lap car of Brett Bodine between himself and Spencer. And the passing flag being shown to the lap car. Tell you, this day couldn't have gone any more opposite the day Jeff Gordon had here in June in that race where he led all but 19 laps. 2nd place.
Dale Jr., the 8 car, trying to take it away from Dale Jarrett in 88. Can't quite get it done.
Jarrett's crew getting him off pit road just ahead of Dale Jr. on their last stop. Jr. has led so far 154 laps today. He has been the dominant driver. Took the lead at lap 3, and he's led most of the time.
Here comes Junior once again, trying to get on the inside. He's got to run this time. He takes that spot away.
Clear, all clear. Paper's still there.
What do you say? Paper's still there?
Still there in the grill.
Oh, yeah. Here's a good look at it.
Right there on, right there.
Oh, that's a lot of that grill opening.
Yeah, it is, actually.
Dave?
I just checked with his car chief again, Tony Ure Jr. He told me that would help the car as far as turning in. A little more downforce there, but as long as it doesn't overheat.
And you know, when we had that good close look on the front of that, they've got all of the lower grill opening blocked off with tape.
You can see exactly there is no air at all coming in the bottom. He's only dependent on that top grill for air. And is that enough to keep it cool? I doubt it.
You think Wilson's starting to get hot in there?
I bet Wilson is starting to sweat.
Wilson knows all about air.
Or lack thereof.
Of air.
There, clear up, clear.
You remember the movie, Wilson the Volleyball, with Tom Hanks? Well, Wilson's riding with Dale Jr. I don't think it's the Wilson. I think it's a Wilson replica.
It's a better looking Wilson.
Much better looking.
Well, you said it looked like me.
Got me on that one.
Yes, I did.
Go ahead, tell me, Benny. I'm a big dummy.
The 19. Oh, you are a big dummy. The 19 and 25, Casey Atwood. Where's he running? 9th position, and the 25. You've been watching Nadu. He has been fast.
I had to watch. 25 car right before that last yellow was picking him off. He passed about 4 cars in 10 laps.
Nadu started 41st. He's into the top 10. Just behind him, Rusty Wallace. Sterling Marlin got a peek at Jeff Burton. All these cars on the lead lap. had so many cautions today, it's kept a lot of guys in the hunt. As fast as Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been running a lot of the day today, only one time did we get an extended green flag run where he caught the tail end of the field and started to put guys a lap down.
Check out the 19 car, Casey Atwood, how far he's behind Ricky Rudd. You see Rudd is a yellow circle, Atwood the green one. You see he's 8 3/4 seconds behind.
Okay, you got it, you got it. Nice job, you got it.
See Ward Burton on the apron heading back to pit road.
And all of a sudden, the 25 car backed off dramatically. Rusty had to dive to the inside. It looked like to avoid running the back of it. Now the car seems to be back up to speed again.
Wally, you're out here running lap after lap after lap. A lot of times you hear drivers talk about when a car wiggles, just gets an uncomfortable feeling going into the corner, they have to take a minute to regroup.
Yeah, especially if you don't know why it's happened. If you're doing the same exact thing lap after lap and all of a sudden the car gets sideways, you're not sure if you've got a tire going down or something broke. So you've got to kind of feel it out for a lap or two, because you don't want to just say, well, it was nothing, and then go burn off the next corner and it really be a problem. So it takes a lap or two to regroup.
And you get your heart beating again.
Yeah. Get some confidence back in that car when you go rocketing off into the corner. Jeff Burton started 22nd.
That's the 13th right now.
Steadily, if not spectacularly, on the lead lap and moving toward the front. Dave Blaney restarted 4th after getting no tires on that last stop. Marty?
Yeah, I think we may owe an apology to Doug Randolph, his crew chief, guys, because we really questioned that move. But I tell you, I've been watching Blaney's lap times. They're actually pretty good. Now, granted, Tony Stewart is catching him on the racetrack, as is Kevin Harvick. But his lap times are a little bit better than Jimmy Spencer's. Spencer took on 2 tires. Blaney took on none. So looks like right now the move was a good one.
And I'm going to question it always as a driver, because as a driver, I'm always going to want tires. But where you're going to see it come into play is about 20 or 30 laps before they have to make their next pit stop. Then we'll see how those tires are holding up.
142 laps to go in the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400 at Dover.
Are you Mr. Dale Jarrett?
Yep.
Are you going to race the big brown truck?
No, I'm not driving the truck.
I'm going to hold my breath until you drive that big brown truck.
In Dover, the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. We've got 263 complete, 137 to go. Next weekend, our coverage of the race for the championship moves on to the new Kansas Speedway. Saturday, it's NASCAR Busch Series racing at 2 Eastern time. Then a week from today, Sprint PCS presents NASCAR Winston Cup racing at 12:30 Eastern from Kansas City on NBC. Dale Earnhardt Jr. running 2.8 seconds behind Ricky Rudd in second. And Matt Kenseth is on pit road for an unscheduled stop. Marty?
It's been a dreadful day for Matt Kenseth, the Walt team. This is normally one of his better tracks, but they've only had one top 10 in the last recent races. They have a water problem, or overheating problem, rather. They're putting cold water in through that little hose you see going in behind the hood, and they think they may have lost the engine now on Matt Kenseth's car. They have really struggled all weekend, Alan.
That's too bad. Matt with his problems. Robert Presley has just taken his car to the garage, and it has been retired from the race. Damage from that earlier accident. They came back out and made some laps, but it's given up. Let's check in on Joe Nemechek. Benny, you talked about him. Trouble.
There's. Hey, is that the result of not changing tires, you think?
Well, take a look at that right front tire.
Dave Blaney running 4th. Into the wall, cautions out. Matt?
Well, you sure could hear it go by. It sounded like he cut down a tire. And also an update on the 33. They have been loose all day. Andy Petrie says they continue to adjust, and it just doesn't get any better.
Well, you bet that got every crew chief's attention.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you come in, you get tires here at Dover because this place is so hard on the right front tire.
So the great run from the 42nd starting spot up to 4th ends against the turn 1 wall for Dave Blaney. Let's go back and take a look at what happened.
Yep, you watch him go down turn 1. Right there, the right front tire blows, and this is what happens.
And he was so lucky that it happened on the straightaway rather than about the time he got to the bottom of the racetrack. And Jeff Gordon, once again, is right behind it.
I'd be nervous if I was anyone else that saw the 24 car around me today.
A lot of damage on Blaney's car.
Now we'll see how many guys take just 2 now.
Leaders onto pit road, 132 laps to go as they come down. Bill Weber.
The words from Jeff Gordon, we're getting it, little loose in, and that's about the size of it. So it's going to be 4 tires, fuel, no changes. They clean the windshield, stops getting strong for the 24. Dave?
The leader is in. A little more deliberate pit stop for the boys this time. They thought they might have made a mistake last time on the car, and we're being very cautious watching Ricky around the track, perhaps a lug nut. This time they're going to be very deliberate, getting everything on for him, and he's still going to beat everyone out. Dale Earnhardt Jr. makes a track bar adjustment. He said it was a little tight getting in and a little bit loose getting off the corner.
And Jr. is going to lose 4 or 5 cars track position as he making that chassis change. He goes from 2nd back to 8th.
Marty?
Well, the word from Jimmy Spencer, guys, nothing but tires and gas, and that's all they did. They put on tires and fuel, and that's all Spencer needed. Very fast race car right now. To Matt Yoakum.
The gas man for Tony Stewart, Jeff Gooch Patterson's going to have wedge elbow after the day is over. Another 1 round of wedge out. He says his car is tight in the center, says Tony Stewart. At least now it's gone to the tight side, 4 tires, but also they've got 2 team members on loan from the 18, Barry Cook and Alan Copley. The rear changer and carriers for the 18 because Randy Cox, a normal tire changer on the rear for Tony Stewart, got some kind of debris in his eye.
Ricky Rudd's the leader. Ricky Craven is up in 2nd. We'll have the restart when we come back. The fall premieres of your favorite returning shows and this fall's new shows. It's the must-see NBC Premiere Week starting Monday night on NBC. Summary of pit stops.
Look at Jr. Comes in 2nd, goes out in 8th.
Wow. And Ricky Craven is up in 2nd spot, just 2 tires on his pit stop. Marty Snyder.
Well, as Dave Blaney's team packs up and heads to the garage, we'll let them pass through here, and we'll show you when they leave Dave Blaney's right front tire, and that's not a very pretty picture. That is what's left of it, and as we talked about, that might be the result of changing no tires, but I doubt it. He didn't really have a whole lot of laps on him, so I don't think that was a result of changing no tires. You can see the paint chips from the wall embedded inside the wheel well there, so a lot of damage to that right front tire of what's left of the right front tire of Dave Blaney's car.
And that hole that you see that Marty showed you did not cause the tire to go flat. That's what happened when he slammed on the brakes and wore through the tire. That's what I'm talking about.
That's a flat spot.
A flat spot.
Big time.
Going to be another lap or so before we get the restart. Let's take a break here. Back to Dover after this. From the 9th caution of the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400, and we've still got 127 laps to go. Yellow fever today.
Yellow fever.
And Ricky Rudd continues to run so well in that number 28 Haviland car, the winner last week or 2 weeks ago in Richmond.
Remember, Craven just got 2 tires, 2nd place car, the 32, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is back in 8th. Got all the lap cars to the right of your screen mixed in and among them as well.
And you see our bubbles in the lead 3 cars. We'll see the distance and how fast that Rudd drives away from them. So far, they're staying fairly close.
Yellow car, Kenny Wallace, first car 1 lap down. He's in 23rd place.
And Ricky Craven, the car that we saw run up front the first 50 miles or so, we haven't seen much of him since. As Dave Burns reported, has some damage to the right front tire and seemed to have caused his handling to go away a little bit.
And after all that's happened today, look at Jeff Gordon up in 4th place. This is just one of those kind of days where he'll keep after it, he'll turn around and win the thing. One of those kind of days. Gordon has not won since Watkins Glen and Global Crossing at the Glen in mid-August. He's about due for another one, isn't he?
Sounds to me like it. It looks like it as well.
Looking down on Dover from our U.S. Army Skycam. Find out more about the United States Army at GoArmy.com.
Well, that lap, Jeff Gordon was not quite as fast as the leader, Ricky Rudd. He was about a mile per hour slower, but it might have been the traffic of Kenny Wallace that caused that. We'll check it out. This lap, as he comes off turn 4, completes another lap. Well, he was about 3/4 of a mile per hour slower. So he is slower than Ricky Rudd. Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, closes in right on the back bumper of Ricky Craven. Looks like he's going to take that 2nd spot away.
Craven giving way. Jarrett on the fresher tires.
Good job, buddy. Go get the 28.
Bobby Jeffries, that ever so calm and reassuring voice from the spotter stand.
And I said just a moment ago that Bob Jeffries had a little girl. He and his wife had a little girl on Wednesday.
Gordon looking inside Craven for 3rd. He's got him. Dale Jr. so far, no progress since the restart. He's still in 8th place. I'll tell you, Stewart's car's kind of leveled off too. Got the pit report a minute ago that the gas man was going to have, what do you call it, wedge-itis in his arm for making all the adjustments on the car. There's Dale Jr. trying to get around Jimmy Spencer. He's just passed Sterling Marlin for 7th. Now he's trying to get Spencer for 6th. Dave?
Now, one of the reasons why they lost time on their pit stop was because they had to get around the 28 coming into their pit stop. That sounds like the reverse of what happened earlier to Ricky Rudd. But that's exactly what happened. And then when they made a track bar adjustment as well on the 8 car, that slowed them down and put them back a few spots.
And while we watch this, another unscheduled pit stop for Kenny Wallace. He moved up to be the first car 1 lap down after pitting for loose lug nuts under the green earlier. He's back in again. And since it's just after another caution flag pit stop.
Yeah, would lead you to believe. And again, once you wear those studs and the wheel rolls around on those studs, it really is hard. Oh, Spencer and Jr. almost makes contact.
That was a little bit, I think, of what we were talking about earlier, where that was the arrow loose that we saw Earnhardt pull on the 26 car of Jimmy Spencer.
Earnhardt Jr. has led 154 laps of the race so far. Right now, he's mired back in 6th place.
Let's show you what we're talking about when we go arrow loose. If you're the car behind, you want to get somebody loose in front of you. You pull up right on their rear bumper as close as you can. That does 2 things. That takes the air off the spoiler in front of the car. That air's going off the spoiler instead of down around it. Also, it's packing air underneath the guy's rear bumper. So it's creating lift on that car. And when it creates lift, it's actually pulling the tires and there's less grip of that car and he gets a little sideways. And that's exactly what the 8 car did to the 26 of Jimmy Spencer.
So Spencer slides back to the 8th position where he's being challenged by Jerry Nadeau. It's Ricky Rudd who's out in front of the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Ben, he's out in front by 1.68 seconds over Dale Jarrett.
If you remember earlier, 32 was leading this thing, and the 8 kind of rooted him out of the way, but got by there pretty clean. 40 car's going to take advantage of it too. He's going to dive underneath 32 car. Now remember, he's only got right side fresh tires, and all these other guys have 4 brand new tires.
Mike Beam, the crew chief on the 32, trying to get some track position. Here comes the 25. Jerry Nadeau on the inside of the 40 car. That is a battle for the 7th position. And Nadeau from provisional land goes into 7th.
41st starting spot. By the way, Kenny Wallace, 27th place now, 3 laps down. Survey says
loose lug nuts.
Second time today.
And as I said, once you do it one time, it's almost impossible to get those tires tight the next time.
So what we've seen from Craven and Spencer after the 2 tires on their pit stop is whatever the track conditions are at this moment, it's not liking it.
Well,
they're both sliding back.
They're sliding back, but actually their times aren't that far off. They're sliding back a little bit. But I think everything they gained by taking 2 tires, really where you start seeing the 2 tires be a problem is longer into the run. 40 or 50 laps into the run. That's when these cars will start backing up. And basically that's what he's doing right now.
Nader is by, Marlin goes by, Craven back to 8th. Nice run for Jeff Burton so far. There he is on the lead lap, 15th place. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Back in June, if you remember, Jeff Burton won the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte, and then he came to Dover with high hopes to pick up his first win here on the Monster Mile, but he ended the day 10 laps down. So today, running in the 15th position would almost seem like a victory. On the previous run, the car was loose. Frank started the crew chief, called for an air pressure adjustment. Now the car has gone to the tight side. And Frank has it a conversation on the radio. And of course, I'm never one to be an instigator, but Frankie does have a little message to Alan Bestman.
50 years old. See, I told you he was 50 years old.
It's not 50, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice hair for 50, he said, too.
I know. Stoddard's my next-door neighbor. All I can say, Frankie, is you better get home before I do tonight.
You know, I talked to Mark Armstrong, the front tire change on Jeff Burton's car this morning, and, you know, I didn't realize he was a firefighter in Shelby, North Carolina for 5 years before he started his racing career, and he was telling me that the New York firefighters are the world's best. All the training films that they show worldwide are all done by the New York firefighters. He said they are the very, very best. Oh, Schrader. He's in the middle of a hornet's nest right here in that 36 car.
Lose a couple spots here.
He might be the hornet in that nest. He has made it very clear to his crew that his car is very, very, very loose. Very loose.
How loose is he, Bill?
It's very loose.
Very loose. I got you.
That's 4 varies. That's extremely loose here at Dover.
2 car with a run on the outside. In line now. Clear high.
That was Jeff Burton's radio. Spencer and Craven swapping a position. That's 8th place. And Kevin Harvick now going to zero in on Ricky. Boy, Ricky, that car's just going where it wants to in the corner.
That's just a lack of grip right there. And he has to slide up that racetrack because there's no grip.
When he goes to the corner, turns the steering wheel, the car just slides right across the racetrack to the top of the track. And if he tries to do anything about it, he's going to spin out.
Right, you got to wait till the car stops sliding before you get back in the throttle.
About to hit the 3/4 mark of today's MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400 at Dover. Delaware, where Ricky Rudd is the leader. The MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. 94 laps to go. Rudd out in front by 0.7 of a second over his teammate Dale Jarrett.
Looks like Jarrett is getting a little bit closer to that 28 car. You know, and when this thing is over, they told me in the garage here this morning that Jeff Gordon, when he won the race here in June, was exhausted. And I can believe that. We used to run 500 miles here, and it was just all you could do to stand after the race is over. And 400 miles is really, truly not that much better.
The unique characteristic of this racetrack, besides the steep banking of the corners, 2 things. Number 1, the straightaways. Look how steeply that's banked. That's 9 degrees. That's as steep as the corners at Indianapolis. The straightaways are banked. And the other thing is the dive downhill into the turns.
Let's watch Kevin Harvick, and we'll count down the straightaway, see how much he relaxes. When his wheels come back, 1,001, 1,002, 1,000. About 2 3/4 seconds on each straightaway is all that he gets to relax.
And when they ran the Indy cars here, the IRL cars here ran, they actually took a grinder and they really ground the racetrack down. This place was 5 times rougher than it is right now. They took a lot of the bumps out and made this racetrack smoother. It still vibrates really hard, but it used to be terrible.
See how you go downhill when you go into the corners? The straightaways are actually elevated above the lower groove in the turns. That's not the same as in most any other track. And it really, it's a lot of drivers have talked to me, it's like driving a roller coaster, falling off that hill into the corner every time, twice a lap.
Exactly, especially going into turn 1. When you go down into turn 1, the racetrack just falls out. And when you can actually see the wheels falling down if you stand down there and watch the cars go in. And then the car lands, so it is. Hey, Marty, what do you got down there?
Well, actually, we were going to talk about Texas Terry Labonte, who just lost a lap to Ricky Rudd. He's running 20th on the track. This is start number 700 for Terry Labonte. Of course, for the long time, known as the Iron Man of NASCAR Winston Cup Series racing. The day has not been that good for Terry Labonte. They've been up and down, all over the place. Right now, they're calling this race an experiment or a test. To Bill Weber.
Unscheduled stop for Ken Schrader. Car got so loose he had to come down pit road. Flat right front tire.
Oh, man.
Dropped him 2 laps down, back to 23rd place. So another one off.
Looking low inside. Clear behind him.
Earl Barber, the spotter for Rusty Wallace.
Schrader's 2 laps down on tire.
And you want to know that as a driver. If a guy just comes along and blows your doors off, you're going, man, what happened? So Earl's telling him, hey, buddy, he's got new tires. You don't.
Rusty Racing Bobby Hamilton there in the 55 car for 13th place. While we watch this, the leader, Ricky Rudd, has just caught Kevin LePage and put him a lap down, the 19th place car. Rusty, he's just not been a threat to lead this thing all day.
No, and he was the same way, exactly the same way here in June. Just somehow this year has not hit on the combination to get around Dover. Bill, what about the 36 car?
Well, I just wanted to point out, Benny, that there's been a lot of talk about how nice Schrader's car looks this weekend and how patriotic it is. And it's not just a nice thing that M&M's did to take the decals off the car and put the American flag on there, but it was a lot of work. In fact, it took the crew 13 hours to decal that car. They started at 5 p.m. one afternoon and finished at 6 a.m. the next day in time to get it up here to Dover. So it's not only a nice thought, but a lot of hard work, not only by the sponsor and the corporate side of it, but by the crew guys as well.
Again, unfortunately for Schrader, a good lead lap run ruined by that unscheduled pit stop a minute ago. It's put him back in 23rd place. Leaders last pitted at 268. So if this thing were to run green to the finish, they'll all be in for a fuel stop around 3:58 or so. Dave?
Alan, one of the things that the 28 car said they needed before the end of the race was another set of the same spring-rated tires. You can see the 93 on here. These are from Dave Blaney, who's now out of the race. They talked about other cars that they might get the tires from, including the 15 of Michael Waltrip, but then they remembered, oh yeah, Michael Waltrip is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s teammate, and there are already tires from the 15 car down in the 8 pit. Everybody's looking for that great tire, the one that they think is going to be the grippiest and the best to try to win this thing.
Grippiest, I like it, Dave.
Hey, that's a good word, Dave.
It's a Wally word.
What you're looking for here?
You run a 537, you run a 550.
9/10 of a second, now the advantage. Rudd has picked up 2/10 on Dale Jarrett. And there are 81 laps to go. Rudd, Jarrett, Gordon, Earnhardt Jr., and Nadeau, the top 5 in Dover on NBC. Laps to go at Dover. Ricky Rudd is the leader of the MBNA Carl Ripkins Jr. 400. Quite coincidentally, the top 3 drivers in the championship are running in the first 3 positions in the race.
And you can see Dale Jarrett just 0.6 of a second behind Ricky Rudd. There you see the current point standings. Ricky Rudd after his dominating performance today, really hasn't gained that much.
No, he hasn't, because he's leading. Jeff Gordon is running third. Rudd is closing in on taking over the statistic for leading the most laps today. That'd be worth an extra 5 bonus points for him if he can lock that one up for the end of the day. Only 2 drivers with a shot at it now, he and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And there you see the difference between Ricky Rudd, Dale Jarrett, and just how close they are. It's varying around 0.7 of a second. A little higher, sometimes a little lower.
And a good ways back to Jeff Gordon.
And Jeff Gordon's going to have his hands full with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in just a couple of laps. As a matter of fact, he might already.
Remember, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had problems on his last pit stop, came off pit road in 8th place. Took him a while to clear some of the traffic. Ooh, hear that? Off the gas in the middle of the corner.
I think he jumped back on the gasoline so soon that he picked up a big-time push and had to back off to let it get back going straight again. Oh, there's that arrow push you talked about, Wally.
Arrow loose, yes, sir.
Arrow loose,
exactly what it was. Especially when you run up on a car fast. What happens is it really packs the air underneath that rear bumper. So when he really ran up on him and got that car loose.
Dale Jr. to third. Dave?
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. radioed in about 20 laps ago with 2 words, but they were the same word, unfortunately. Tight, tight.
And Jeff Gordon lost 5 more points there, and he's about to lose 5 more to Jerry Nadeau, that 25 car.
Been a good run for Nadeau today, Marty.
Well, the performance over the last couple of races with 2 straight top 15s, Alan, had been much better. And they had a team meeting after Bristol. Crew Chief Tony Furr felt like Jerry was trying to pay too much attention to the chassis setup, not worrying about driving the race car. So Rick Hendrick and Tony Furr sat down with Jerry in a very nice meeting and said, listen, pay attention to driving the race car. Don't worry about the chassis setup. Leave that to Tony. Since then, they have done very, very well. The performances have been much better, and they look on their way to a top 5 right now.
If they could just qualify a little better, they'd have a greater chance to win. They started 39th at Richmond, finished 14th.
One car inside.
Started 41st today, and he's taken 4th from Jeff Gordon.
Clear.
Nadeau won NASCAR Winston Cup win. He took the season closer in Atlanta last year. Remember back at the Chicago race, he led a lot of laps in that one, then had an oil leak, sent him to pit road for repairs. Took away a chance to win on that day. Little team standings for Hendrick Motorsports.
25 car is the fastest car on the racetrack right now. It has been for about the last 4 laps. He's got 6 seconds to make up on the 28.
Yeah, he's got to be awfully fast.
We're about 20 laps away from pit stops under the green, if it stays that way. As Ricky Rudd continuing to catch the tail end of the field and being involved in that traffic is allowing Dale Jarrett to close in. He's put John Andretti a lap down. Now the 16th place car, Jeff Burton, goes a lap down.
And it's all going to be about pit stop. If it goes green the rest of the way, the pit stops are going to make the difference on who wins this race.
Now, probably the top 3 cars will change 4 tires, but a Jeff Gordon, a Tony Stewart, some of those guys back 6, 7 seconds behind. You think they might try to change 2 tires to pick up that extra 2 seconds?
Absolutely.
Extra few seconds?
There'll be definitely a lot of gambling going on from about 4th place on back.
And the key to that is you don't need a full tank of fuel. If you need a full tank of fuel, it's going to take you just as long to change 4 tires as it will to fill the fuel tank. But not needing, but what, 1 can?
1 can.
1 can be plenty.
And this is the perfect situation for those guys to make that pit stop in under 13 seconds and get in my pocket.
Why don't we take a break here so we're back in time for the pit stops. Rudd leads. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
Each man that goes across the wall, $100 apiece.
The BP Challenge.
BP Challenge.
4 tire pit stop.
4 tire stop, and they can't come back in at 20 laps with loose lug nuts either.
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't count.
So Rusty Wallace, is that Ricky Rudd right behind him?
That is the race leader.
Looking low inside.
Ricky has now taken over the bonus points for leading the most laps today.
Inside.
Dave?
The 32 car of Ricky Craven getting ready to come in now. They were reporting that the car was really, really loose, and so we'll see what kind of adjustments they want to make to the tied Ford as he pulls it in, hits his marks. It looks like right now they are going to make a wedge adjustment in the right rear while they take on more than 1 can of gas. He's going to need to get to the end. You guys were just talking about that. Drives in with a 2nd can of gas as they put on 4 tires and get Ricky back out on the track.
Well, they had to put 4 tires on.
Oh, we got to crash the leader. Ricky Rudd goes around. He hasn't hit anything yet. But Rusty Wallace goes by, gets a lap back. Oh,
what you got? What you got? Go ahead. Hustle, hustle.
Wow. Caution is out.
Come on up here, Roots. Dig, dig, dig. Don't get us more spots than half to.
Can you believe?
No, I can't.
54 laps to go. Ricky Rudd spins out.
There we see all the spotters.
He was trying to get around the 2. I don't know how close they were. We didn't get to see it yet. What's it look like, BP? See any evidence?
No, but I do know he has remained in the lead lap.
Pit road was closed this time by. Pace car hasn't picked up the field yet. That's kind of a break for Rudd. He gets the catch back up before they start coming in.
Ricky's got plenty of time. He's still in good shape right now.
He's back in 7th place.
And another guy that didn't hit anything. How are they doing
I don't know. Man, these guys are really good. These guys are really good to spin and not hit anything.
I used to hit the wall so hard here, I thought I was Benny Parsons when I woke up.
Thank goodness you didn't look like it.
So now the challenge out for Rudd's crew. Track position.
Let's see if we can tell what might have happened to Ricky Rudd. I don't think this is the incident there. The lap before, Rudd trying to put a lap on Rusty.
Bounce a little bit there.
And we see Jarrett's right on the back bumper.
Did Rusty hit him?
Yeah, Rusty got into
I believe
the
Rusty
back
got
of
in the
him.
back
Wow.
of it.
Remember Bristol when they traded shots at the last lap and after the checkered flag? How about that? Marty?
Jerry Nadeau is in, running 3rd, tight off of the corner. He was the fastest car on the track for much of that last run. Half pound in the right rear and 4 tires. This looks like a very fast stop so far. They drop the jack. He heads on the track to Bill Weber.
See the left side's going on. Here comes the 25 car. He's going to beat Jeff out. Here comes the 40 car. He's going to beat Jeff out. Man.
A track bar adjustment on Tony Stewart as the left side tires go on. They adjust with air pressure. He needed help in the final third of the corner. He was a little bit tight today.
New leader Dale Jarrett is already gone. He beats everybody off of pit road. The only adjustment they made was to take a half pound of air out of all 4 of the tires to try to give him a little more grip.
Rudd's crew gained him a couple of spots on their stop, got him out 5th. That could be big.
I'll tell you what, see that smoke coming out of the windows of 28? That's coming out of Ricky Rudd's helmet. And I'll tell you what, if Rusty's anywhere near Ricky, it's going to be big.
Ricky Rudd leading this thing.
I don't know what he was. What it looked like he had a gasket. There once again, there's a 28 car. And I think all of a sudden Rusty closed up much more on the 28 car than he thought he would, because it looked like he started to try to avoid him just about the time he touched him.
What a great piece of driving here by Ricky. Watch the brakes. Lock, unlock, steering, lock, unlock.
And everybody else, too, by not hitting them.
He almost backed out in front of those cars. That would have been big.
Another look at it.
I don't know.
No, he hit him.
He looked like he was on the gas to me.
He hit him. Little payback. Maybe thought Ricky roughed him up coming down the front stretch trying to lap him the time before. Well.
Not over yet. Because remember what the 29 and the 28 at Richmond.
Remember I talked about Bristol a minute ago with Rusty and Ricky? Let's go back and take a look at that. This was on the final lap of the night race, the Sharpie 500 there. Racing for 4th position. Excuse me, I want to come through.
Here we go. Here's what we're talking about. This is the last lap. Then we see Rudd gets to the back of Rusty, goes, takes that spot away. Now Rusty, the checker flag is waved. Rusty comes down and says, Ricky, why did you do that for, man?
But they're racing for position there. They're not putting each other a lap down, or one guy putting another car lap down.
Dave Burns.
And I'm with Micah McSwain, the crew chief now. Fatback, what did Ricky tell you on the radio?
He didn't say a whole lot, kind of like Richmond deal. You know, this just riled him up a little bit. I mean, you know, that's kind of a chicken deal, the way Rusty handled that out there, you know. He had a bad day and he took it out on us, but that's racing. It ain't over yet. We're running 5th.
So he just got a ruffled old, he ruffled old Rooster's feathers, did he? I guess he kind of ruffled old Rooster's feathers, huh?
Oh, yeah. Swat.
All right. And if that got Ricky Rudd the win at Richmond from saving it after Kevin Harvick tapped him, maybe it can do the same thing today.
What did Michael say? Let's watch it.
He said, just watch. And that's what I'm saying. Right there, that man is determined.
Matt?
Well, I just spoke to Robin Pemberton, Rusty Wallace's crew chief. He said that Rusty said nothing about the incident on the radio, whether it was Errol or whether he accidentally got into him. But nonetheless, interesting incident.
Sure is. Liven things up. 54 to go. Ricky Rudd goes from the lead to 7th, picks up a couple of spots on the pit stop. He'll restart in 5th.
Normally, if you didn't mean to do that, you would have said, hey, man, tell him I didn't mean to do that.
Okay.
Now,
Jerry Nadeau up to 2nd behind Dale Jarrett. Green flag. Kind of brings Dale Jr. back into the mix here, too. He's up into 3rd. Got Stewart 4th, Rudd 5th, Marlin 6th.
The 32 and the 99 car, both those guys caught a tough break. They made their pit stop. The caution flag came out. Now both those cars are lapped down.
Jeff Gordon back in 8th place now. Bill?
Alan, they came down pit road on the long runs. The 24 car seems to lose grip at the end of the run, so they made a half round of wedge adjustment, 4 tires, and they put that wedge in the left rear. But on the long runs, the 24 car loses grip at the end, 15.52 on the stop.
And there's Joe Nemechek behind Jeff Gordon. He's moved up to the 9th position.
like you said he would.
I've been getting one of there for a while. 29 car gets on the inside of Sterling Marlin, trying to take a spot away. That's a battle for the 6th spot.
Harvick to 6th. Now Jeff Gordon challenging Marlin for 7th.
Harvick looks out his back bumper out the rearview mirror and sees all this going on, and Jeff Gordon takes a spot away, moves into 7th.
Nemechek car having rallied back from that unscheduled pit stop that caught him a lap down, and he's up into the top 10. Remember last time Joe was here, right there, he cut down a right front tire and slammed the turn 3 wall in a NASCAR Busch Series test back on May 15th. Injuries kept him out of a car for almost 2 months.
And he is working hard on Sterling Marlin, trying to take that spot away, and looks like he might have it.
Aerial views of Dover, courtesy of the United States Army. There are 212 ways to be a soldier. Find out more at GoArmy.com.
You know, that's one impressive thing about Joe Nemechek. After that terrible blow he took here the last time, it doesn't seem like it's bothered him one bit about coming back to Dover.
Now, you'd think natural tendency would be to be a little bit spooked with a crash that hard. Harvick and Gordon, 6th and 7th. Try to put a lap on Craven.
Clear, all clear.
No change up front. Rudd is not advanced from 5th place. Nemechek trying to deal with the lap car of Craven. Second place, Dale Jr.'s on the move.
He waved to Jerry Nadeau and says, thanks, man, for cutting me some slack and not racing me side by side. Because I want to go up here and see if I can't catch that 88 car. He's right there, right in front.
Hit your mark, 41 to go, 41 to go.
41 laps to go. Dale Jr. to second, 0.6 of a second behind Dale Jarrett. Can he catch him? We'll find out when we come back to Dover. Jr. has just taken the lead from Dale Jarrett. 38 laps to go.
And watch Jr. stretch out away from the 88 car. Jarrett.
Let's take a look at the pass for the lead.
This was impressive. He goes in the corner, Jarrett goes up the hill, and Jr. just drives by on the inside, keeping that car right down next to the apron.
Now Nadeau applying pressure to Jarrett for second. Rudd still behind Tony Stewart. Back in 5th.
I think Rudd has the potential to get up to second spot in the next 35 laps before this race is over, but I don't think he's going to catch Jr.
Bad news for Ricky with Jr. back out in front. He may lose those 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. Ricky by Tony Stewart for 4th. Jr. leads another 12 laps, 13 laps. He goes by Rudd for those extra championship points.
All right, here goes Nadeau trying to take over that second spot.
Not yet.
Can't quite get that run off the corner that he needs.
140,000 in Dover today. They're all standing. You know, we've got enough laps left to go that the handling characteristics of these cars will change.
And you're absolutely right, Alan. That's why I think the 28 car still has a shot, because it seemed to me like his car was better towards the end or middle towards the end of a run. Just don't know if he's got enough time.
Second place again.
Although while these guys are racing, he should be gobbled. Yep, he's getting very close to them right now. He's got to get by him.
He's got to get by him. I don't think he'll have a lot of trouble getting by the 88 car, but I don't think the 88 wants to give anything away to the 25 now.
Still there, clear. Still there, clear. Outside.
That's a tough one for a driver. Still there, clear.
Yeah, that is tough. Clear. There you go.
It's Rodney Combs, the spotter for Jerry Nadeau.
Go, can't go.
So Nadeau to second. 2.5 seconds behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here comes Rudd on his teammate.
And I don't think that Dale Jarrett will hold up Ricky Rudd very much. I think he'll let him go. And give him a chance to go up and catch the 8 car.
That's exactly what he did, BP.
Hand out the window away from Rudd. The problem for him now is Dale Jr. is gone. Look at the interval. 3 seconds. It was 2.5 seconds just a little bit ago. A couple of laps ago.
But Dale Jr. didn't have traffic to contend with, so once the 28 car Ricky Rudd gets in some clean racetrack, he may be able to run him down.
30 to go. You're running third.
That's Rudd's team. It's crew chief Michael McSwain. Gordon by Harvick. That's 6th place. Gordon running in 6th, Rudd running in 3rd, Jarrett running in 4th. Rudd has led today, Jarrett has led today, Gordon has not. 5 bonus points for leading the lap in the championship.
Jeff Gordon's car is lucky to be running what he's been through today.
There's the interval. It was 2:22 coming into today. That's as they run now. But in another 5 laps, Rudd is going to lose 5 of those points because Dale Jr. is going to take back over the leading the most laps category again. Jeff Gordon been playing dodgeball right from the drop of the green flag. Lap 21, a wreck on the backstretch with Bill Elliott and Bobby Labonte. He sliced through the middle of that one. He bounced off Ricky Craven at lap 79, damaged his left front fender. They fixed that at lap 129. He spun Ron Hornaday out on the front stretch. 4 cars involved in the crash, but not Gordon. He slipped through the middle of that. They had a pit stop problem at 168. He fell back to 18th, picked his way up through the traffic. And through all that, he's running 6th. Looking at Tony Stewart. Tony got up and led 1 time for 3 laps today. As strong as he's been here at Dover, kind of a surprise and a letdown that he hasn't been more of a threat to win this thing. I mean, he's still running in 5th place, but he has not been a threat to get up and lead.
He hasn't been nearly as fast as the 28 car of Ricky Rudd, the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And I think before this is over, he might lose that spot to Jeff Gordon.
Dale Jarrett's car just has fallen off. Here comes Stewart to pressure him for 4th. Checking speeds. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is running about a half a mile an hour faster than Ricky Rudd. He is opening up the gap.
And Jerry Nadeau is slower than Dale Earnhardt Jr. So he is driving away from all of his competitors.
Cole Wilson may get a trip to victory lane.
I'll tell you one thing, if they win that race today with that soccer ball in there with Wilson in there, I bet you he'll be in this car each and every race that Junior runs in for a long, long time. Not that they're superstitious or anything.
There he
is.
We're
plus 3.5 now, 3.5. We're still faster.
Matt?
Well, Alan, we have well documented Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s fascination with the movie Castaway. We talked about Wilson, but if you talk to Dale Jr., at home in his pool is a raft. He and his posse members went to a local hardware store and bought provisions to build a raft. Right now it's in its R&D stages of styrofoam and wood, but he said next spring when they do their final version, they'd like to take it down the Mississippi. They said if Kyle Petty can do his charity ride across America, he and his posse members can go rafting down the Mississippi, and they're taking pledges to raise money. And of course, his sponsor has donated some styrofoam coolers to help out with the provisions.
I don't think I want to go.
No. No. 5th place. All right, I can't get him on the inside. How about the outside?
Okay, let's try it on the inside. That didn't work. And looks like he might have it. He does.
That's a pretty nice move. Crossover there from Gordon. He takes 5th, pushing Stewart back to 6th. Been a tough day for a number of drivers. Bill Elliott running, but 15 laps down after the early crash. Matt Kenseth running. Long time on pit road for overheating. He's 10 laps down. Johnny Benson, Mark Martin, Ward Burton, Bobby Labonte, all back on the track after time in the garage from accidents.
And the 32 car, Ricky Craven, has made an unscheduled stop and can't find out what's wrong with his car. He's now 5 laps down, running a great run he had going today. And here's Gordon trying to get by Dale Jarrett. Hey, Dave, what's going on with DJ? Slipping back.
Well, BP, you know, one of the things that the teams look for in the tire sets that they put on the cars are that they be consistent so they can count on them and the numbers they put down every time. And according to Todd Parrott, as now Dale Jarrett is going to lose that position. According to Todd Parrott, the crew chief, this set of tires just does not match their expectations, what they thought they were going to do. And that is the trouble that Dale Jarrett is having right now.
In the slang that gets used around the garage area, they'll call that a bad set of tires. There's nothing wrong with the manufacture of the tires, but the performance characteristics don't match what the car wants at that moment.
They don't get what they wish for.
Yeah, these tires have a rate to them. And if the tires are not exact, you know, they're consistent, but they're not exact. So if you have a tire that, say, is a spring rate a little bit different than the last set, it's going to affect how the car handles. So you're kind of chasing the tires all day. And that last set obviously got away from them a little bit. And you got to ride it out until the next pit stop, get those tires off, make another adjustment.
Unfortunately for them, the timing of this problem, right, not going to be another pit stop.
They're out of passes.
Yeah. Stewart working on Jarrett for 5th place. So Jeff Gordon gets a most fortunate break with Rusty Wallace spinning out Ricky Rudd. He's going to absolutely minimize his point loss because he's running 1 position behind him on the racetrack.
Guys, I mean, I'm not trying to hype this thing up or what have you, but the last lap, Nadu was faster than Dale Earnhardt Jr. Marty, what's happening to the 25?
Yeah, Benny, it may not be over yet, although they are obviously running out of time on the radio. Jerry Nadu is being encouraged by a spotter, Rodney Combs, and his crew chief, Tony Furr. They're telling him that he is faster than Dale Earnhardt Jr., and there's trouble out on the racetrack.
Dale Jarrett spun around, backstretch. Contact with Tony Stewart. Caution is out for the 11th time in the race.
These race guys are going to feel like nobody likes them after today.
They're having a hard time.
Come on around here, spin her in.
Rough driving has been an issue we've talked about a lot in our NASCAR Busch Series broadcasts. Looks like we're going to have some hot tempers at the end of this one today. Marty?
Well, guys, this is exactly what Jerry Nadu needed. 2 laps before this, Tony Furr told him, if we could just catch up to Dale Earnhardt Jr., I think we can win the race because we're faster than him. This will give him that opportunity.
And Dale Jarrett will stop and change 4 tires, and he will be 14th with 10 laps to go. How much distance can he pick up?
See what happens here. Tony Stewart, big hole down there, and it just closed up. And actually, that's, you know, when Dale was, we were talking about the line he was running. He would drift up the racetrack. Then you remember we said he came back down to the bottom of the track, exiting the corner. Tough angle, but that's what it looked like happened.
And another guy who spun at Dover and didn't hit either wall.
We've seen that 3 times today. Is the 29 car picks the right way to go. As a matter of fact, every driver picked the right lane.
Pit road's open. Harvick's going to be the first one to come in, the 6th place car. Harvick, Marlin, Atwood, Elliott Sadler, Jimmy Spencer, Bobby Hamilton, and Dale Jarrett. Matt?
And Kevin Harvick comes in for his final service. You know, if you're not one of the top 3 or 4 or 5 cars, it does not cost you anything to try to come in and get some fresh tires. In fact, he was joking on the radio that his spotter had been talking to him so much it was bad memories of Fatback, or Fat Boy, I'm sorry, as they head back down to Dave.
Dale Jarrett has pulled the 88 into the pit now, and they're going to put 4 tires on. I watched the tires going over the wall to see if they were borrowed. They are not. They all have 88 stickers on them. We're going to check real quick to see what the ones coming off have, just to make sure they weren't a borrowed set that might have spun them out. And I'll just try to get a quick look. Nope, they say 88 as well. So the tire problems they had were the sets that they had put together themselves today.
I remember Dale Jarrett's car handling very poorly as he slipped back in traffic, and then the contact with Tony Stewart. Restart's going to come with inside 10 laps to go. It'll be single file. This one's going to get exciting. Don't go away. Junior 400, 140,000 to America before the race. Then Ripken himself waved the green flag to get it started. Wow, that was his reaction. Trouble early. Bobby Labonte and Bill Elliott involved in a crash on the backstretch. Jeff Gordon barely snuck through it. But Gordon's day would be far from problem-free. This is Dale Earnhardt Jr. going to take the lead from Ricky Craven early. Excuse me, I'm coming through. Now Gordon's troubles. Watch here as Ricky Craven gets loose under Hornaday. Crinkles in the left front fender on Gordon's car, slowing his handling. He gets that fixed, but then later on, he gets into Hornaday, setting off a wreck on the front straightaway that took 4 drivers out of the event. Mark Martin, Johnny Benson, Ward Burton, and Hornaday. Halfway point of the race, Michael Waltrip. This gets up into the high stuff, said he heard something clunk up under the car before he crashed. One of 11 caution flags that have slowed this race. Dave Blaney running 4th into the outside wall. His team had not changed tires on the previous pit stop. And again, Gordon just behind that one. Another case of dodgeball. Now, Rusty Wallace, having been bumped by Ricky Rudd, the leader, as he went by him to lap him. A little payback in turn 4. The leader gets spun out. He comes back to 5th after a pit stop. He's up to 3rd now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. lap 362 by Dale Jarrett for the lead. Jarrett slips back in traffic with an ill-handling car. Then he gets tagged by Tony Stewart, racing for 5th moments ago. Cause for the 11th caution of the race. Eventful, to say the least.
Very eventful.
And now we're getting set for a last 8-lap scramble to the finish. Dave?
And Tony Eury is the crew chief. He makes the calls.
Too wide or something, you know, we might not be able to, but as long as we get in this corner before they do, I think we can.
All right, he's got a good seat up here. He's watching them coming out forward. Marty?
Now, we were going to talk to Tony Furr. I asked him, do you have a shot? He said, absolutely. That's Derry Nadeau's crew chief.
Single file restart. Now 7 laps to go as they come to the green. Earnhardt Jr., Nadeau, Rudd, Gordon, Stewart. Dale Jarrett's back in 14th with a fresh set of tires.
Tell you what, Junior's car is pretty gone fast, and Ricky Rudd, a little contact there, looked like between Jeff Gordon and Rudd. A challenge for 3rd by Jeff Gordon.
Top 2 in the championship. Remember, it's taken Rudd's car a few laps to get going, it seems like, on each of the restarts all day. Now maybe he's gotten away from Gordon.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. just driven away from Jerry Nadeau.
I don't think that, you know, it may be a case for the 28 like the 88. I'm not sure Ricky's really happy with this combination of tires he had. Because we got, was that Brett Bodine down there?
Brett Bodine off the pace. Hope he makes it back around. 4 laps to go. If the caution comes out to remove his car now, the race is going to end under yellow.
And Jerry Nadeau right now has to worry about the 2nd spot because Ricky Rudd is closing in.
This season started very slowly for Dale Earnhardt Jr., but in the second half of the year, things have begun to come around. It started with the big win at Daytona, the Pepsi 400 Independence Weekend. That emotional victory.
3 to go, 3.
Now here at Dover, he's led almost half the race.
And the 29 car of Kevin Harvick, stock change 4 tires, he has moved back to the 6th position.
Earnhardt Jr. in 3 tries here at Dover. He's finished 10th, 16th,
back, 2 to go.
and 3rd. In a Winston Cup car in 4 tries here. In the Busch Series car, he won twice. He told us earlier in the broadcast he liked this track because it was forgiving when you overdrive the car, and that's what he likes to do. Fans on their feet. White flag is out. Next time for a white flag. My mistake. No, that was the white flag lap. This is the final lap. Starter never waved the white flag. Final lap. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to lead 193 of 400 laps. The American and checkered flags out at Dover. Earnhardt Jr. wins.
Tony Sr., heck of a job.
Did you say Junior get loose coming off fourth for the checkered flag?